Chapter 2960. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had to admit that Skyflame City was too strange. There were a total of 9 passages, and this was only one of them. Yet there were so many terrifying puppets. A single puppet was equivalent to 40,000 Archean powers. The hall was vast and boundless, and there were hundreds of thousands of fiend gods and demons. If all the fiend gods and demons were to be revived, the Fire Dragon King and the others would not be able to escape. Fortunately, it seemed that most of the fiend gods and demons did not react. Only a few fiend gods and demons struggled to crawl out. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Who in the world built this heavenly fire city? Was it a super saint? Or a terrifying great emperor? The Crimson Dragon, Morong Qingqing, and the others were even more shocked. It was especially so for Morong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu, who were both stunned. Were all puppets so powerful? The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Damn it, I really want to get the fragments of those puppets. Indeed, it was very tempting to him. He guessed that there was probably a mysterious formation inside those puppets. If he could study it thoroughly, then his attainments in array formations would be greatly improved. However, he could not get it yet. No, I have to think of a way to get that kid to give me some. The Crimson Dragon muttered softly. Moreover, there were also exclamations of surprise because they realized that they were about to reach the end. The front was no longer as empty as before. A passage had appeared again. It seemed to be a passage to leave the vast hall. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, his heart pounded wildly. Why did he feel that danger was about to descend? He activated his heavenly secret divine eye and looked around. Soon, he stared ahead. There were 2 statues in the passage ahead. They were extremely ferocious and terrifying. If the 2 statues suddenly appeared at any other time, it would definitely attract everyone's attention. However, the 3 ancient theocrats were already numb to it. The entire starry hall was densely packed with hundreds of thousands of fiend gods and demons. Every one of them was more ferocious and terrifying than those 2. Therefore, they didn't care at all. However, Lin Xian was different. As he possessed the heavenly secret god eyes, he was naturally able to discover the difference between the 2 statues. He discovered that these 2 statues contained a terrifying power that far surpassed the previous puppets. Moreover, this power was becoming more and more berserk, and it seemed like it was about to explode. It was just that it was calm on the surface. Most likely, no one in the entire hall would notice it except for him. There must be danger. Lin Xian unconsciously slowed down his footsteps. He didn't want to remind these people, nor did he want to bear the inexplicable danger. Just as well, let the formation mechanism deal a heavy blow to the 3 immemorial dynasties. Let's see if these people will still be so arrogant then. At this moment, everyone's attention was on the passageway ahead. They wanted to leave as soon as possible, so no one paid any attention to Lin Xian. Even Zhan Wushuang, who was above, did not care. Although Lin Xian's speed had slowed down, he still hadn't escaped his range. Humph! Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Through the heavenly secret god eyes, he knew that the 2 fiend gods and demons would soon attack. Indeed, in the next moment, the 2 fiend gods and demons on both sides of the passageway suddenly launched an attack. The 2 fiend gods and demons instantly came to life. The tails behind them turned into long spears that pierced through the void. Poof! The void split open as the 2 tails swept across. In an instant, some immemorial creatures were sent flying. There were even people who were split in half. Not good. Hua Muzhen's expression changed because he was from the Fire Qilin cave. At this moment, they were the ones being attacked. Not only were the creatures behind him injured, but he was also enveloped by the black shadow. Get lost. Hua Muzhen roared and struck out with his palm. He was the 7th generation descendant. His strength was extremely terrifying, far surpassing that of ordinary immemorial prodigies. At this moment, under his furious roar, a terrifying energy burst forth as runes flashed across the sky and instantly blasted forward. Boom! Poof! Such terrifying energy could directly kill an ordinary immemorial prodigy, but it couldn't block the attack of the black shadow. With a sound, the runes were pierced and blood splattered out. This time, it directly pierced through Huamujian's shoulder. This scene stunned everyone. Even the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine phoenix ridge behind them were stunned. Huamujian was injured? That was the seventh-generation descendant. He was extremely powerful. His ancient power had reached 50,000, suppressing all the others. Such a terrifying person was actually injured? Who was the one who did it? Was it the fiend god puppet? They didn't dare to imagine. Quickly defend. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also shouted angrily. However, just as their voices sounded, someone beside them screamed. Among them, in the Fire Qilin cave, a dragon-like creature with black wings was instantly pierced through the head. On the divine Emperor Ridge's side, a beautiful woman was split in half. Her eyes were wide open. That was because even at the moment of her death, she did not manage to clearly see what had attacked her. Seeing this scene, the front was in chaos. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang and a few figures in the darkness frowned. In the distance, the Crimson Dragon and the others' hearts were beating wildly. Damn it, it was too dangerous. Fortunately, someone took the lead. They felt a lingering fear. Lin Xin looked at this scene and narrowed his eyes, but he sneered in his heart, because all of this was within his expectations. However, the only thing that surprised him was that the attacks of these two fiend god puppets were too terrifying. They could actually injure Huamujian. It had to be said that Sky Flame City was really full of fatal dangers. The Fire Qilin cave was at the front, so it was attacked the most fiercely. In an instant, another two heavenly secrets of the Fire Qilin cave were killed. This scene made Huamujian instantly turn ferocious. He roared angrily, "Retreat!" At the same time, he charged towards the black shadow. Buzz! Fiery red runes flickered on his body, and a red long saber appeared in his hand. He held it and slashed forward. Clang! The red long saber swept across the sky, and terrifying killing intent and runes flickered as it tried to split the opponent in half. However, such a terrifying saber only made a clanging sound when it struck the fiend god puppet in front of him. It only made a crack, but it didn't split the opponent in half. So powerful? Huamujian's pupils constricted. It wasn't that he hadn't killed these fiend god puppets before. Although these puppets were powerful, they couldn't withstand a single blow from him. He could kill them with just a casual blow. However, the puppet in front of him was clearly different. The opponent was very strong and could injure him. Moreover, its defense was even more shocking. His powerful saber didn't pose a fatal threat to the opponent. Not good. This thing is troublesome. Attack together. Chapter 2961. The Fire Dragon King also roared angrily. After all, this puppet was a huge threat to the nest of 10,000 dragons. Roar! A dragon's roar sounded. The dragon blood on the Fire Dragon King's body surged, drowning the entire world. At this moment, he was like a giant dragon that had been born. No one could stop him. He punched out. A terrifying fist accompanied by a dragon's roar blasted towards the god-fiend puppet. With a clang, the fist landed squarely on the puppet's body. The puppet was forced back a few steps. A few terrifying cracks appeared on its body, and it almost split apart. However, this puppet was not human after all. It did not feel pain at all. If it were a martial artist, their strength would definitely be greatly reduced after suffering such a heavy injury. They would be in so much pain that they would die. However, these puppets did not react at all. Their attacks did not weaken at all. Whoosh! They opened their mouths and spat out endless flames that swept in all directions. Huamujian snorted coldly. His body also ignited endless flames that turned into a Qilin to resist. The Fire Dragon King did the same. On the other side, Feng Yinxue also made her move. She urged her jade flute to launch a mysterious soundwave attack. At the same time, a pair of blue divine wings grew out from her back. She was using the ice element to attack. The puppet was of the fire element, so the fire attack did not cause much damage to it. As she spoke, the pair of blue ice wings spat out ice and snow that filled the sky, instantly freezing the entire world. Half-saint artifact, frost wings. Many ancient creatures screamed in surprise. Divine Phoenix Ridge, Phoenix Clan. In addition to the Fire Phoenix, There were also ice phoenixes in the clan. Although Feng Yinxue was a fire phoenix, she had the half-saint artifact left behind by Bing Feng after his death. This pair of blue wings was it. At this moment, it could really freeze everything. The three top prodigies attacked the two god-fiend puppets. An earth-shattering battle broke out. Terrifying energy surged in all directions. The surrounding three ancient royal creatures quickly retreated. Lin Xian also retreated to the side. He sent a voice transmission to the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingsheng, and the others, telling them to follow from afar and not to get close. After a great battle, the two puppets in front of them were shattered into pieces and fell to the ground. The three ancient royal family members had gloomy expressions. This was especially true for Huomuzhen and the other two. Although they had killed their opponents, they were not happy at all. Due to their carelessness, the three royal families had lost some geniuses. Even Huomuzhen had been injured. One had to know that this was simply too inconceivable. Who could injure top geniuses like them? This was only within the palace, and the time to obtain the treasures had yet to arrive. Who knew how terrifying the dangers would be at that time? Everyone's heart was heavy. Huomuzhen harumphed coldly as he collected the corpses of the geniuses of the Fire Qilin Grotto. At the same time, he collected a portion of the fragments of the Fiend God Golem. The same was true for the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. They would not allow the corpses of geniuses to be spread outside. After doing all this, Huomuzhen said coldly, "Everyone from Fire Qilin Cave, follow closely behind me." This time, they couldn't afford to be careless. Not only the Fire Qilin Cave, but the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge were also on high alert. Even Zhan Wushuang, who was in the sky, had a serious look on his face. Lin Xian, who was following behind, sneered. All of this was similar to what he had expected. Once again, he silently followed behind. Finally, the group of people left the Universe Starry Hall. After passing through the long passage, the front gradually became brighter. After exiting the passage, everyone exclaimed. This was no longer a palace, but a garden. Inside, rockery, flowing water, waterfalls, and all kinds of rare herbs were everywhere. However, most of them were ornamental and had no medicinal value. This made the people from the three primeval empires sigh. At the front, Huomuzhen's eyes flickered, and a mysterious light appeared in his eyes. Soon, he arrived near a rockery and stood there with his hands behind his back. It was as if he was sensing something. This scene attracted the attention of the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. The Fire Dragon King asked, "Why? Is Brother Muzhen interested in the scenery here?" He didn't believe that this was just an ordinary scenery. With Huomuzhen's identity, what kind of scenery had he not seen? Why would he stay beside a rockery for so long? Could it be that there was some treasure here? Huomuzhen turned his head and revealed his white teeth. "It's nothing. I'm used to seeing mountains and rivers. It's not bad to look at small bridges and rivers." As he said that, he smiled slightly and walked away with the people of the Fire Qilin Cave. Humph. The Fire Dragon King narrowed his eyes, while Feng Yinxue snorted. She also walked over. Her phoenix-like eyes flickered with a shocking light, and countless runes shrouded the rockery. It seemed that she wanted to see through everything. However, after looking for a long time, she didn't find anything unusual. In the end, she could only leave resentfully. The Fire Dragon King also probed and found nothing. Even Zhan Wushuang and a few people hiding in the dark did the same. They also quickly followed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe that Huomuzhen did this for no reason, unless he wanted to confuse them. He activated the heavenly secret divine eyes and observed silently. Suddenly, he exclaimed in surprise. The aura in the garden was a little strange. It seemed normal, but he discovered that there seemed to be a strange energy here. Sure enough, at that moment, the Crimson Dragon also transmitted his voice to him. He directly used the disc array, so it was more covert than a voice transmission. It would be difficult for those people to discover it. The Crimson Dragon said, "Kid, you found something?" This garden contained an astonishing array formation. An array. Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. Was it a killing array? Damn it. Was Huomuzhen trying to kill them with a borrowed knife? It was not a killing array, but a teleportation array. Moreover, it was a very ancient teleportation array. It seemed that it had not been activated for tens of thousands of years. However, the entire array was complete. It could be activated as long as energy was injected. A teleportation array. Lin Xian was surprised. The Crimson Dragon's attainments in array formations were very high. He definitely wouldn't be mistaken. He thought about Hua Muzhin's previous actions and immediately understood. Hua Muzhin must have been sensing whether the teleportation array was complete or not. It seemed that he had already thought of a way out. Lin Xian sneered. He guessed that Hua Muzhin wanted to use the teleportation array to quickly escape from everyone's pursuit after obtaining the heavenly fire. Ruzalong, can you change the array? Make it ineffective. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. The Crimson Dragon was stunned, then silently became ecstatic. Kid, are you trying to trick him? Great, I've been wanting to do that for a long time, but I have to study it. Lin Xian said that there was no need to make too big of a move. Just change one or two key positions so that he wouldn't be able to activate it. In a hurry, he would not investigate it carefully. Also, Lin Xian said, don't break it. We might have to use it when the time comes. Chapter 2962. Don't worry, leave the array to me. The Crimson Dragon smiled cunningly. He began to quietly set up the teleportation array. The array was very old, but the Crimson Dragon was very skilled in it. He needed to change it a little. Therefore, it did not take long for him to change the teleportation array. Apart from them and Lin Xian, no one else knew about it. Murong Qingqing secretly smiled. I want to know how the people of the Fire Qilin Cave will react when they find out that the teleportation array is no longer working. Hee, they'll probably vomit blood. Shen Jingqiu was also looking forward to it. Let's follow them. The Crimson Dragon and the other two quietly followed behind. As they moved forward, it became even more dangerous. One of the prodigies of the Divine Emperor Ridge accidentally activated the mechanism and was immediately pierced by a flying sword. His soul was instantly destroyed. This scene made the others even more terrified. It was too terrifying. There were dangers everywhere in Skyfire City. They might be killed mercilessly at any time. Once the mechanism was activated, very few people could escape. Hua Muzhin and the others slowed down, especially Hua Muzhin. The image of a Fire Qilin circled around him as if he was facing a great enemy. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue looked solemn. They knew that perhaps the legendary Heavenly Flame was not far away. Therefore, they also activated the power of their bloodlines, ready to attack at any time. The people of the three Imperials also looked very solemn. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The sword qi in his body surged, and the heavenly god eye shone with a mysterious light. Finally, after walking for another 2 hours, something changed in front of them. It was a magnificent mountain, and there was a cave at the foot of the mountain. There were 2 stone doors at the entrance of the cave. The 2 stone doors were closed, and the mountain was like a divine volcano, emitting a terrifying aura. Even the Fire Dragon King and the others felt their eyelids twitch. They felt a tremor in their souls. How terrifying! Lin Xian looked up in surprise. Through the heavenly god eye, he saw that the huge mountain carried an extremely powerful force. That was the power of the origin of fire between heaven and earth. Is this the place? Was there a terrifying heavenly fire buried here? The surrounding Archean prodigies discussed fervently. Hua Muzhin looked at the cave in front of him with a fiery light in his eyes. On the stone door of the cave, there was a mysterious flame rune. They were vivid and lifelike, as if they were dancing divine flames. Have we arrived? Hua Muzhin's face was expressionless, but his heart was wild with joy. According to the ancient texts left behind by their ancient emperor, they knew that there should be a terrifying heavenly flame buried in the cave. However, he did not dare to be careless at all. Although there were no ancient books left behind to tell him how dangerous it was inside, he knew that it was definitely much more dangerous than the outside based on the formations and mechanisms he had encountered along the way. If he wasn't careful, he might die here. Behind him, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also walked up. Among them, the Flame Dragon King clapped his hands and laughed loudly. As expected of the Fire Qilin Cave's 7th generation Great One, His divine bravery was unparalleled. He was actually able to find the place where the heavenly fire was buried. There's no time to lose. Let's hurry up and open the cave entrance. Next to him, Feng Yinxue also could not wait. Huamuzhen snorted coldly. He did not say anything. Since they had already come here, it was impossible to retreat. He took a deep breath and said, "Let's do it together, the two of you." As he said that, the three of them pressed their palms on the red stone door. As the three of them unleashed their powers, the red stone door slowly opened. The heavenly fire that was originally dancing on the stone door was also divided into two. It's open. It's finally open. Behind them, the archaic creatures were extremely excited. Even Lin Xian became nervous. He could not help but clench his fists. Squeak. He looked forward in surprise. At this moment, the stone door was completely open, revealing the scene inside. However, it was different from the cave he had imagined. It did not seem to be a cave, nor was it a palace or a pavilion. Instead, it was a strange scene. Could it be that this was a paradise in the human world? Heavens, could this be a mysterious space that fell from the immortal realm? The archaic creatures also screamed. That was because the inside was too beautiful. It was completely different from what they had imagined. It was definitely a paradise. Not to mention them, even Huamuzhen was stunned. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue were also extremely surprised. Along the way, they had encountered too many dangers, formations, and traps. But now, a paradise in the human world had suddenly appeared. It was difficult for them to adapt for a while. Huamuzhen looked forward and carefully sensed. Indeed, in this paradise, he could feel a faint flame power. It should be the legendary heavenly fire. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath and was the first to enter. After him, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also entered, unwilling to fall behind. After the three apex heavenly secrets entered, they activated their king domains and bloodline power, as if they were facing a great enemy. After walking for a while, they did not find any danger, and the three of them secretly heaved a sigh of relief. When the 10,000 archaic creatures saw this scene, they were also happy. "Let's go." They all entered. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang snorted coldly, turned into a golden stream of light, and quickly rushed in. On the other side, a few mysterious figures also entered. Lin Xian also walked in. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon and the other two also quietly followed in. After Lin Xian entered, he was speechless. He was surrounded by a celestial scene, but he could also sense a faint flame origin power. After entering, the 9 suns' divine fire in his body became cheerful. Dark nether grass. Heavens, it was actually dark nether grass. A prodigy of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed. This was a spiritual herb that no longer existed in the outside world. He was very excited. He turned into a dragon shadow and instantly rushed over to put away the dark nether grass. This scene made the surrounding archaic creatures extremely envious. Huamuzhen glanced at it and did not care. Although the dark nether grass was precious, compared to the heavenly fire, it was insignificant. His goal was the heavenly fire. As for the rest, he would not care. But gradually, he changed his mind, because as the surrounding people dispersed, screams of surprise could be heard. Metal spirit fruit. Ink flower. F*CK. Could this be a king medicine? Screams could be heard. They realized that this was indeed a paradise on earth. The spirit medicines here were either extinct or king medicines. It was really enough to make people scream. This was a peerless treasure trove. Chapter 29:63. Ha 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 ha, this is great. This is a great harvest. The 3 primordial royal family members were excited. Lin Xian was also delighted. He did not expect to encounter so many spirit herbs here. How could he miss it? With the yin-yang 8 steps, his speed was extremely fast. Whoosh, whoosh. At once, he picked up 2 spiritual medicines that were extinct and 1 king-level medicine. This scene naturally won the dissatisfaction of the others. After all, although there were many spirit herbs here, they were not cabbages. The other party had snatched 3 of them at once. How could these people tolerate this? More importantly, The other party was not a member of the immemorial theocrats. He was merely a human ant. In their eyes, such a person was an existence that they could crush at any time. Previously, they did not kill the other party because they were worried about the formation outside. Now, there did not seem to be any peerless formation here, so they did not have to worry about it. Moreover, the other party was so reckless. It seemed that they had to take action and deal with this human brat in front of them. Do you think that we don't dare to make a move on you now? Without the formation, you are probably just an ant. Go to hell. Many primordial geniuses walked up and stared at Lin Xian with sinister sneers. Obediently hand over the spirit herbs you obtained and the great dragon sword soul. I can give you a quick death. I will give you the time of an incense stick to write down the cultivation method of the 9 young divine body. Otherwise, I will break all the bones in your body. Kid, hand over the great dragon sword soul and the 9 young divine body, and I can spare your life. I will let you be my servant, and after 1,000 years, I will set you free. These people sneered sinisterly and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian closed his eyes. Why? Finally couldn't help but make a move? It was a good time to exercise his muscles and bones. His figure flashed, and he took the initiative to attack. Courting death. When those people saw this scene, they roared angrily. The other party actually dared to take the initiative to attack them? Go, kill him. These people shouted coldly and directly attacked. 2 figures were like gods and demons. They stretched out their large palms and grabbed at Lin Xian. One of them had red claws. He was a genius from the nest of 10,000 dragons. The other was a prodigy of the fire Qilin cave. The flaming Qilin claw shone even brighter. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was so powerful. Why would he be afraid of these people? The light in his eyes flickered and turned into 2 beams of divine light that pierced through the void. The whole place began to tremble. Terrifying waves of air surged to the heavens. Bang bang. The 2 primordial geniuses were sent flying. Their attacks were shattered, and their bodies were penetrated by the sword qi. What? How could he be so powerful? The surrounding ancient life forms all went crazy. Lin Xian's strength had exceeded their expectations. Damn it, let's attack together. These people acted quickly. Lin Xian sneered. His figure flashed and disappeared. When he appeared, the sword in his hand flickered and enveloped these people. Cries of surprise rang out one after another as a sword mark appeared on each of their bodies. Not only that, but they also discovered that the spiritual herbs they had just plucked had also been snatched away by a monkey. Damn it, how dare you? These prodigies were so angry that they vomited blood. They originally wanted to rob the other party, but who would have thought that not only did they fail, but they were also robbed by the other party. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful auras erupted. These ancient life forms gritted their teeth in anger. They finally stopped holding back. A terrifying aura surged between heaven and earth. Why? Do you want to fight? I don't mind playing with you. Lin Xian sneered. The 9 young divine body bloomed with light, and a terrifying sword intent also erupted. Your opponent is me. I will kill you with my own hands. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang revealed a sinister smile. He couldn't wait any longer. However, at this moment, the Fire Dragon King, Huamuzhen, and Feng Yinxue frowned. Especially Huamuzhen. He discovered that after Lin Xian activated the 9 young divine body, a terrifying flame aura surged up from the ground. This made his expression turn solemn. The Fire Dragon King also said loudly, "All of you, stop." As soon as he said this, the people of the nest of 10,000 dragons retreated. Feng Yinxue also called back the people of the Divine Phoenix Ridge. They said that it was better to obtain the heavenly fire first. After all, they were already at the last step. They wouldn't give up the heavenly fire for a human brat. All right, I'll let you live a little longer then. Zhan Wushuang didn't make a move. Instead, he looked into the distance. The heavenly fire was equally tempting to him. Lin Xian sneered. This time, he obtained another king medicine and 3 extinct spiritual herbs. To him, it could be said to be a great harvest. He happily stored these king medicine and spiritual herbs into the black earth. With his hands behind his back, he looked into the distance. He wasn't in a hurry. He would let these people fight first. After the heavenly fire came out, he would make a plan. In front of him, there was a majestic waterfall. However, what flowed in this waterfall was not water, but flames. Monstrous flames and lava poured down from it. The flame aura here was very dense. Below the waterfall was a large lake. It was also incomparably fiery red and filled with lava. Huomuzhen arrived in front of the flaming lake, his eyes flickering. He sensed that the heavenly fire was probably below. However, he didn't act rashly. The others didn't move either. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinshue's expressions were unprecedentedly solemn. They felt a sense of trepidation, as if the power below could tear them apart. Brother Muzhen, don't hide anymore. Hurry up and do your best. The Fire Dragon King said in a deep voice. Feng Yinshue, who was beside him, also looked over. Huomuzhen sneered. Do your best? Make a wedding dress for your disciple? He wasn't a fool. He naturally knew that when the heavenly fire appeared, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinshue would attack mercilessly. Then what do you want? Feng Yinshue frowned. Huomuzhen said, It's simple. Along the way, I've been leading you to break the array, especially into the fourth area. I've also spent a lot of trump cards and treasures. Now, you'll pawn the treasures in your hands to me. I'll break the array. Otherwise, don't even think about it. You. Feng Yinshue's face was red with anger. The Fire Dragon King nodded. No problem. Isn't it just some treasures? I'll give them to you. As he spoke, he waved his hand and a storage ring flew out. After Huomuzhen received it, he probed it with his soul and smiled with satisfaction. Very good. What about you? He looked at Feng Yinshue. Feng Yinshue's face was red, and her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. However, she still stretched out her hand and threw out a storage ring. Huomuzhen also probed it, and then put it away with satisfaction. Good. Both of you, lend me a hand. We'll break the array together and seize the heavenly fire. All right, no problem. The two of them nodded. Buzz. Huomuzhen's eyes shone with a piercing light. His robe fluttered, and the phantom of the fire Qilin appeared and disappeared mysteriously. Chapter 29:64. With a wave of his hand, he began to crack the array. Array discs appeared one by one and were displayed by him. In front of him, the flaming lake flickered with mysterious runes and covered the surroundings. It was obvious that this was a very terrifying array. If anyone attacked rashly, they would probably be burned to ashes immediately. Buzz. Buzz. Huomuzhen's eyes focused as he held a flaming array disc in his hand. There were 49 small fiery red flags on it. Under his control, the flags expanded in the wind and turned into 49 large flags that covered the sky and were inserted into the ground. Each flag was incomparably red and covered with runes. A ferocious Qilin was drawn on the flag. Huomuzhen controlled the array disc with both hands, and the 49 Qilin flaming flags kept changing positions with raging flames burning on them. A terrifying force burst out, enough to destroy the heavens and earth. In front of them, the ancient array trembled slightly but did not break. One could imagine how terrifying this array was. What are you two waiting for? What are you waiting for? Huomuzhen shouted coldly at the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinshue. The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered. He sighed and attacked. Feng Yinshue also attacked. To be honest, the two of them did not want to attack because it was a waste of energy to break the array. Once the array was broken, it would definitely be a chaotic battle. Without energy, it would be difficult to win the battle. Therefore, the Fire Dragon King shouted coldly, Zhan Wushuang, are you still not going to attack? Feng Yinshue also shouted coldly, and those hidden in the dark, I know you are all here. However, it was impossible to reap without sowing. It seemed that Feng Yinshue wanted to drag all the hidden experts into the water. Figures appeared one after another, and some of them had gloomy faces. Damn it, this woman was so smart that she did not let anyone go. 3 more figures appeared in the surroundings. In addition to Zhan Wushuang, there was South Emperor Yin Nantian, and the last one was a pale and coquettish man. Hua Xinyan, from the Demon King Palace? Yin Nantian looked at him and said with a frown, I didn't expect the famous South Emperor to recognize an insignificant person like me. How surprising. The coquettish man chuckled. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others frowned. Demon King Palace, from the Demon Clan? The Demon Clan was one of the 10,000 ancient races. However, he was different from them. The demon race had always existed and hadn't gone into hibernation. Therefore, although they were also part of the 10,000 ancient races, their relationship wasn't that close. On the contrary, the relationship between the demon race and the human race was inextricably intertwined. Lin Xian stood at the side and watched. With his heavenly fortune divine eyes, he naturally knew that someone was hiding in the dark. However, to his surprise, it was actually Yin Nantian and the people from the Fiend Imperial Palace. What was the relationship between Hua Xinyan and Hua Tiandu? Thinking about it, he should be an extremely powerful genius of the Demon Monarch Palace. This time, did Yin Ruyu come? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. It had been a long time since he last saw the other party. He wondered how the other party was doing. All right, since they're all here, let's attack together, Hua Muzhen said in a deep voice. The others nodded. As long as the formation was not broken, they would not have a chance to seize the heavenly flame even if they wanted to. Several top geniuses joined forces to break the formation. The other ancient creatures were extremely nervous. Lin Xian also retreated far away. He didn't make a move. At this moment, a golden light appeared in his eyes as he quickly analyzed the formation. At the same time, the Crimson Dragon and the others quietly came to his side. Kid, this formation is not simple. I estimate that their chances of success are less than half. Is it that difficult? Lin Xian was surprised when he heard that. One had to know that this lineup was already very powerful. Moreover, looking at the other party's attainments and formations, they should be quite good. In particular, the 49 Qilin flags were a sharp weapon to break the formation. But now, they didn't even have a 50% chance of success. If the two of us work together with them, I estimate that the success rate will be about 70%. The Crimson Dragon secretly transmitted his voice. Lin Xian nodded slightly after hearing that. The Crimson Dragon's attainments and formations were very strong, and his was not weak either. If the two of them worked together, the success rate would be greatly increased. However, Lin Xian would not act rashly. Especially the Crimson Dragon, he could not come out. Otherwise, Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqia would be in danger. Therefore, Lin Xian waited silently. Boom! Countless runes flickered in front of them, and terrifying energy surged. Suddenly, a crack appeared on one of the Qilin flags. It was very ferocious. Everyone's expression changed when they saw that scene. With a boom, the Qilin flag broke in half. Oh no! Many people screamed. Hua Muzhen's pupils constricted. He had been prepared for this. He shouted coldly, and a young man walked out from among the prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave. He instantly took out a flag to replace the broken one. Continue to break the formation. Hua Muzhen's expression was cold. He had more than one formation, so it did not matter if a flag was broken. Fortunately, he had taken the storage rings of the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. Otherwise, the loss caused by the destruction of a single banner would make him feel the pinch. However, good things did not last long. Not long after, 3 more terrifying sounds were heard. 3 Fire Qilin flags were broken in half. Furthermore, there were 4 other flags that had cracks on them. There was a loud boom. A violent energy burst out, and all the Qilin flags were sent flying. In front of them, the flaming lake emitted a boundless flame power, forcing everyone to retreat. Not good. The prodigy's expressions changed, and they quickly retreated. The void where they were standing was shattered and burned into nothingness. Damn it! How could this be? Zhan Wushuang frowned. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others looked solemn. Hua Muzhen's small face was even more ferocious. His eyes were burning, and his aura was abnormally terrifying. Damn it! He had failed. He had failed. This time, too many Qilin flags were broken, so much so that he could not repair them. However, that was impossible. The formation plate was a precious treasure of the Fire Qilin cave. Previously, it had been successful in breaking the formation, but now, Not only was he unable to succeed, but he had also lost a lot. He could not believe it. Damn it, the power of this formation was still above his imagination. Could it be that they were going to return in failure this time? However, if they could not even get the heavenly fire, they could forget about the void divine furnace. In the end, they could only return with the Qilin Eye. In this way, the Qilin Crown Prince would definitely not be satisfied. In the distance, Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he sighed in his heart. Sure enough, just as the Crimson Dragon had guessed, they had failed this time. However, would the Fire Qilin Cave really give up? Did they have any trump cards? He did not know. Therefore, he was prepared to wait and see. Chapter 2965. The other archaic lifeforms sighed. The Fire Dragon King's gaze was cold, and Feng Yingshua's face turned cold. The other geniuses also looked unfriendly. Among them, Huo Muzhin's expression was even more ferocious. The ancient creatures of the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Emperor Ridge saw that there was no hope, so they prepared to search the surroundings to see if there were any more treasures. Since they couldn't get the heavenly fire, they wanted to get more spiritual herbs to make up for their losses. The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered as he asked, "Brother Muzhin, is there really no other way?" He didn't believe that the Fire Qilin Cave only had such means. From the looks of it, the other party was obviously very familiar with Skyflame City. How could they not have prepared some backup plans? Huo Muzhin shook his head. The array formation is stronger than we imagined. For a while, I have no other way. Hearing this, Feng Yingxue snorted. No other way? You took our things and said there's no other way? Then, hurry up and return the storage ring to me. She was really angry. Damn it, she originally thought that the people of the Fire Qilin Cave had a way to open it, but she didn't expect to be happy for nothing. How could Feng Yingxue be happy? What did you say? You want it back. Damn it, if it weren't for me, would you have been able to make it here? Huo Muzhin was also angry. Along the way, the people of the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge followed them like dog skin plaster. And the Fire Qilin Cave was the one who cracked the array formation, especially the defensive array formation on the 4th level. It consumed a lot of his treasures. But now, the team actually wanted to take back the storage room? What a joke. How could he give up what he had obtained? Huo Muzhin's expression was cold. What did you say? Say it again? Don't think that I don't dare to attack you. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Feng Yingxue, who was at the side, shouted, "Come on, I'm not afraid of you. Do you really think that I'm afraid of you just because you're the 7th generation?" Although Feng Yingxue was the 9th generation, she didn't seem to be afraid of Huo Muzhin at all. Seeing that the atmosphere was getting tenser and tenser, Lin Xian, who was in the distance, smiled. Why? Had they started to fight? If both sides could fight, it would be a good thing for him. Lin Xian's expression was relaxed, but on the other side, it was gloomy and worried, especially those from the Fire Qilin Cave. Each and every one of them had gloomy expressions. Their crown prince had given them the task, so if they couldn't get the heavenly flame, they didn't have to go back. Brother Muzhin, is there really no other way? Fire Dragon King said with a frown. It was not that there was no way. Huo Muzhin's voice was cold. Hearing this, everyone turned their heads with a glimmer of hope in their eyes. What method? Thinking of this, Lin Xian's heart pounded wildly. Let's go take a look. He secretly sent a voice transmission to the Crimson Dragon trio. At the same time, he quietly retreated. Of course, he had to pretend to be disappointed. Sigh, I originally wanted to see what the heavenly flame was like. I didn't expect you guys to be so useless that you can't even open a formation. Forget it. I'll go and see if there are any king herbs that I missed. As he spoke, he strolled around the surroundings. Damn it, this kid is too despicable. Hearing this, the ancient creatures in front vomited blood in anger. How dare he call them useless? What a joke. This is the incomparably mysterious Heavenly Flame City. Do you think the formation is so easy to break? Zhan Wushuang glanced at the other party, and a cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. However, he did not make a move. The most important thing now was to think of a way to obtain the heavenly flame. As for the other party, He would deal with him after obtaining the heavenly flame. He did not believe that the other party could escape. After all, the Fire Qilin Cave had led the team along the way. Without the Fire Qilin Cave, these people would not be able to leave at all. Sensing that Zhan Wushuang's gaze had shifted away from him, Lin Xian snorted coldly in his heart. Great. It seems that these people have indeed let down their guard. Thinking of this, he slowly walked towards the place where he saw the mysterious furnace. Behind him, the ancient royal prodigy gritted his teeth. Damn it! Attack! Kill that kid? Yes, capture him first, skin him alive, and make him suffer a fate worse than death. The two of them were so angry that they were driven mad. Chapter 2966. One of them was from the nest of 10,000 dragons, and the other seemed to be from the Fire Spirit Cave. The two of them looked at each other and smiled sinisterly. They quickly followed behind Lin Xian. On the other side, Lin Xian saw that no one was paying attention to him, so he sped up. The entire paradise was huge. Other than the flaming waterfall and flaming lake in front of him, there were other strange phenomena in the surroundings. In the distance, there was a valley. In front of the valley, Lin Xian stopped because he saw the mysterious divine furnace in the valley. Kid, is what you said true? Are there really other treasures? The Crimson Dragon and the other two were still hiding in the void. They quickly asked through voice transmission. I did see it, but I only saw it once. When I looked again, it disappeared. Don't panic. I'll try using the 3 mysterious patterns. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had activated one of the mysterious patterns before, and now he was going to activate another one. He wanted to see if he could see the divine furnace in the void again with 2 mysterious patterns. Countless runes flashed in his eyes, forming a mysterious pattern that shrouded the area in front of him. Sure enough, in the next moment, Lin Xian saw a divine furnace floating in the void of the valley. The divine furnace was extremely terrifying. There were all kinds of rare beasts on the furnace, and there were also terrifying flame runes. It was like an immortal fire. It was incomparably mysterious. There really is one? Lin Xian was delighted. However, at this moment, he frowned. Beside him, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others also exclaimed, "Oh no, someone's coming." They quickly retreated and opened up a distance. Lin Xian turned around and frowned as he looked behind him. Behind him, 2 rays of light flashed quickly and soon arrived near the valley. Kid, you're quite good at hiding. But do you think you can survive by hiding here? How dare you provoke us? You're dead meat. Kneel down obediently and hand over all the treasures on you. The two of them were very ferocious. Both of them had powerful auras that had reached 40,000 Archean power. Kid, I know you defeated by Qianshan, but in front of us, you're still an ant. Each of us can easily kill by Qianshan. We are the geniuses of the imperial family. It's not something you can imagine. Now that the two of us have joined forces, you have no chance of survival. So, kneel down obediently. Humph. A mere 40,000 units of Archean power? You dare to say such words in front of me? Lin Xian shook his head slightly. The two of you are no match for me. If you want to die, then go ahead. What a reckless fellow. The expression of the prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons darkened. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Dragon blood surged on his body, and his dragon scales shone with a dazzling light. His killing intent turned into killing swords that enlarged in the sky and slashed forward. Not good. Retreat quickly. In the dark, Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu's expressions changed. These 2 prodigies were no weaker than the 2-headed dragon from before. Was this the prodigy of the immemorial theocrats? Every single one of them was so powerful. Facing the blood-colored killing swords, Lin Xian's face was filled with disdain. He stretched out a palm and grabbed forward. The sky was filled with golden light. His palm was like a god-fiend, shaking the 9 heavens. With a boom, he grabbed the blood-colored killing swords and shook them forcefully. All the killing swords were shattered. I've said it before, 40,000 units of Archean power is no match for me. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. A cold aura appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. His heart was filled with killing intent. He had to kill these two prodigies. Otherwise, the secret of the valley would be exposed. Damn it, this kid is so strange. His physique is very strong. Let's attack together. The prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons shouted. On the other side, the prodigy from the fire Qilin cave also nodded. He opened his mouth and spat out a small red flag. It was very similar to the Qilin flag that Huamuzhen had used previously. There was also an incomparably ferocious Qilin drawn on it. This time, it was not just a Qilin head, but a complete Qilin pattern. As soon as it appeared, it quickly enlarged and buzzed in the sky. Terrifying flames shrouded the surroundings. Kid, go to hell. The heavenly secret from the fire Qilin cave grabbed the red flag and waved it nonstop. Terrifying energy erupted and swept over. On the other side, the prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons also sneered. He took out a purple spear and thrust it forward, piercing through the 8 desolations. If the two of them attacked together, they could definitely kill the other party easily. However, they were wrong. The current Lin Xian was no longer the same as before. He had 50,000 units of Archean power. Even if the other party joined forces, they wouldn't be able to pose any threat to him. Sure enough, Lin Xian punched out with both fists, and the 9 suns' divine flames burned fiercely. Destroy! The punch landed on the red Qilin flag, causing it to dim and lose its luster. It broke in half from the middle. With his other hand, he grabbed the dragon-shaped spear and broke it into 6 pieces. In an instant, their magic treasures shattered. The two of them were also affected and spat out blood. Their eyes were filled with shock and horror. Damn it, impossible. How can you be so strong? They were about to go crazy. The two of them had 40,000 units of Archean power. How terrifying was it when they joined forces? There was probably no one in the human race who could be compared to them. But now, the ant in their eyes had actually shattered their weapons so easily. They even suffered internal injuries. This scene was simply like a dream. Damn it, this kid has been hiding his strength. His strength was above 40,000 units of Archean power. No, I have to report this to the 7th generation. The expressions of the two changed drastically. They realized that they had been careless. The other party had been hiding his strength. He must be up to something. The two of them turned around and wanted to leave. You still want to leave? Stay. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a piercing cold light. How could he let the two of them leave? So in the next moment, he pulled out the fire Qilin sword. With a stab of the sword, the two heads flew up and their souls were instantly destroyed. Lin Xian didn't hold back at all with this sword. Puff, puff. Blood burst out, dyeing the ground red. The two of them widened their eyes with infinite fear. They didn't expect the other party to kill them so easily. The 9 suns' divine fire appeared in Lin Xian's palm, and he wanted to burn the 2 corpses to ashes. However, he didn't notice that a portion of the blood of the 2 prodigies flew into the valley and landed in the void. That was the blood of Archean prodigies, and it was the blood of the dragon race and the Qilin pearl. It had a mysterious power. Therefore, when it landed in the valley, it finally alarmed the mysterious furnace. Buzz, crack, crack. The surrounding void shattered, and a terrifying power surged out, causing the entire world to lose its light. Violent tremors came, as if a god was awakening. Oh no! Lin Xian's expression changed. Retreat. Chapter 2967. The Crimson Dragon and the other two had long been pushed far away. Lin Xian also used the Yin-Yang 8 steps, turned into a stream of light, and left in an instant. As soon as he left, a ball of flame rippled out from the valley. It was completely formed by interweaving runes and spread in all directions. In an instant, the void shattered, and the corpses of the 2 archaic prodigies were instantly burned into dry corpses and fell to the ground. In front of the flaming lake, Huamuzhen, Fire Dragon King, and the other top heaven rankers did not immediately make a move. They sat down cross-legged and prepared to adjust their bodies to their peak. Then, they would make a move. Suddenly, they felt a terrifying fluctuation coming from afar. Buzz. These people all opened their eyes in shock and bewilderment. Damn it, what happened? Such a terrifying power. Could it be that someone triggered a peerless array formation? As they spoke, the expressions of these top prodigies changed, because they knew that many archaic creatures were looking for spiritual herbs in the surroundings. Perhaps someone had accidentally touched the array formation. If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Damn it, let's go and take a look. Feng Yinxue shouted and took the lead. Fire Dragon King and the others also rose into the air. They turned into streams of light and flew into the distance. In front of the valley, the void slowly closed, and Lin Xin landed on the ground again with a gloomy expression. That attack just now was very terrifying, enough to destroy everything. Perhaps only a saint would be able to withstand it. However, the strange thing was that the surroundings did not collapse. It should be related to Skyfire City. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, Fire Dragon King and the others arrived near the valley. They floated in the sky and looked down, frowning. When they saw the two charred corpses on the ground and Lin Xin, they were instantly enraged. Damn brat, how dare you? They roared crazily. Damn it, the other party is so reckless. They could not tolerate the fact that he dared to kill the disciples of the archaic royal family. Soon, their gazes were attracted by the things in the ravine. Someone screamed. What is that? Heavens, could it be that it's a treasure? Many people screamed. Many primordial creatures had already arrived. They looked into the valley and saw the divine furnace floating in the void. They were extremely shocked. In the sky, the pupils of the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others also shrank. They felt a tremor in their souls. The aura emanating from the divine furnace was simply too terrifying. The flames dancing on them were capable of easily annihilating them. In the sky, Huomuzhen looked at the valley, and his pupils shrank. What is this? His face was filled with shock and disbelief. He looked as though he had seen a ghost. If they stayed here, not only would they not be able to break the array, but they would also be in danger. As everyone prepared to leave, Huomuzhen stared at Lin Xin. He said in a deep voice, Kid, tell me, how did you find this place? At this point, an incomparably terrifying killing intent surged from his body. Although the two corpses on the ground had been roasted into charcoal, he could still sense that one of the corpses belonged to the fire-chilling cave. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Lin Xin. This kid was a living eyewitness. Perhaps they would be able to obtain some information from him. Lin Xin snorted coldly. I came here to look for the Herb King. However, you 10,000 Archean tribes were reckless and insisted on barging into the valley. In the end, you were burned into a dried corpse. Lin Xin would not say that he had found the Void Divine Furnace on his own initiative. That was impossible. Huomuzhen frowned. If the Void Divine Furnace had been here all along, we would have sensed it. It was obvious that it did not appear before. It must have appeared because you triggered some array mechanism. Tell me, what is going on? On the side, Zhan Wushuang sneered. There was no need to talk nonsense. Wouldn't it be more convenient to capture him and search his soul directly? As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out a large hand and grabbed Lin Xin's head. From the looks of it, he wanted to seal Lin Xin and then forcefully take his soul. Do you think I'm really afraid of you? Lin Xin was also furious. This Zhan Wuan had provoked him time and time again. Did he really think that he was a pushover? In the next moment, a piercing cold light burst out from his eyes. He waved his arm and turned into a golden sword light that slashed forward. Chapter 29:68. Boom. The flaming sword streaked across the sky, emitting a dazzling light. With the roar of a dragon, it collided with the giant palm in the sky. With a loud bang, the giant palm was pushed back. What? The Archean prodigy's expressions changed when they saw that. That kid blocked Zhan Wushuang's attack? Even the Fire Dragon King and the others frowned. How can that kid be so strong? Has he been hiding his strength all this while? Feng Yinxue and the others also stared at Lin Xin, trying to see through him. Zhan Wushuang's face darkened. He did not expect that Lin Xin could block his attack. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant in front of me. You will die today. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Come, let's fight to the death. Lin Xian was furious. Since I can't get the heavenly fire or the void wave divine furnace, I might as well fight to my heart's content. As he spoke, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Zhan Wushuang sneered. Although Lin Xian could block his attack, he did not care. That was just a casual attack from him. He did not believe that Lin Xian could block his attack with his full strength. Therefore, he turned into a streak of light and rushed into the distance. Damn it! The rest of you should go and take a look. Wamuzhen ordered his Archean creatures to follow him secretly. At the same time, the Archean creatures of the three Imperials flew into the distance. Firstly, they wanted to see how strong Lin Xian was. If Lin Xian was really captured, they could not let Zhan Wushuang take advantage of him. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu were extremely nervous. The Crimson Dragon transmitted his voice to them. Don't worry, that kid should be fine. Don't forget, he has 50,000 Archean power now. Let's wait and see. These guys, what should we do next? Since Huamuzhen had sent people to keep an eye on Zhan Wushuang and Lin Xian, he was not too worried. If anything happened, he would rush over immediately. Therefore, he planned to go back and crack the formation to see if he could get the heavenly fire. The Fire Dragon King and the others had the same plan. However, Yin Nantian did not leave. Not only that, he even walked towards the valley ahead. What was this guy trying to do? Could it be that he had gone mad? This scene surprised Huamuzhen and the others. The surrounding Archean creatures exclaimed in shock. The Crimson Dragon and the others also frowned. This guy was rumored to have obtained the inheritance of the great emperor. They wondered how terrifying his means were. But no matter what he did, he couldn't block that terrifying flame. Therefore, everyone was very confused. What was Yin Nantian trying to do? Whoosh! Lin Xian landed on the plains. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang sneered and looked down like a demon. Brat, have you chosen a place to be buried? But don't worry, I won't kill you so easily. I'll catch you first. I'll take your soul. Then, I will pull out your tendons and flay your bones. I will let you know. This is the result of provoking my battle clan. Zhan Wushuang's murderous aura soared to the sky, causing the surrounding void to tremble. Humph! Lin Xian did not say anything. He pulled out the blazing Qilin sword and slashed forward. This scene made the Archean Sky Pride's eyelids twitch. Was this brat crazy? He actually dared to fight Zhan Wushuang? Zhan Wushuang was comparable to the 7th generation of the great emperor. He was a top-notch Sky Pride. How could this brat block him? Hee, just wait and see. He's definitely dead. These people watched the battle from afar with cold smiles on their faces. What a reckless brat. Zhan Wushuang was also furious. His eyes shone with a cold light. Who was he? What was his strength? Even the Fire Dragon King and the others would not dare to attack him. However, this brat in front of him dared to attack him? He swore that he would make him regret it. Get lost. With a cold shout, his fist moved forward. Heavenly Divine Fist. The terrifying fist shadow bombarded the sword chi. The sword chi was sent flying into the void, creating a terrifying and bottomless crack in the void. This scene made the Archean Sky Pride's eyelids twitch. How could this brat's swordsmanship be so powerful? He had indeed concealed his strength. It seemed that his Archean power was above 40,000. Damn it! How was this possible? The Archean Sky Pride's faces darkened. This was already comparable to them. They were the high and mighty dragon race. They had the bloodline of the Dragon Emperor, which was why they were so powerful. How could a human ant be so powerful? He was not the descendant of the Arch. Zhan Wushuang's face darkened. This time, his strength had increased again. However, it was only to send the sword chi flying. This made him realize that this brat in front of him was very powerful. It was beyond his expectations. However, he was confident that he could kill this brat. However, before he could do anything, Lin Xian attacked again. Interesting. No wonder you dare to kill me. But it was a pity. Next, I'll let you have a taste of my 9-yang swordsmanship. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous as the divine flames on his body surged. The blazing Qilin sword in his hand emitted tens of thousands of rays of light. All the spiritual energy in the world turned into seawater and gathered toward the long sword in his hand. Buzz! The blazing Qilin sword seemed to have come alive. Its light intensified, and even the shadow of a blazing Qilin flashed. This scene instantly caused the expressions of the other Archean prodigies to change. Damn it, that's the blazing Qilin sword. How could the treasured sword of the fire Qilin cave be in his hands? These people were crazy. However, they did not have time to think too much because Lin Xian had attacked. He slashed out with his sword, which turned into a divine rainbow and slashed directly at Zhan Wushuang. In the sky, the sword light shone like a fire dragon and descended from the sky. The terrifying power pierced through all directions. Humph! You overestimate yourself. I'll let you know the difference between us. Zhan Wushuang's eyes shone brightly. He clenched his hand into a fist and punched out like a god's fist. The entire world trembled as countless large cracks erupted. Clang! This punch collided with the longsword again, and with a sonorous sound, the longsword was sent flying. However, that godlike fist had also disappeared. However, the power on Zhan Wushuang's body became more and more terrifying, especially his eyes, which seemed to have turned into two divine lamps. His biting cold killing intent was firmly locked onto Lin Xian. Kid, you've completely angered me. He rose into the air and strode towards Lin Xian. In the distance, the Archean sky prides were extremely shocked. He blocked it again. The two of them were actually evenly matched. Damn it, impossible. That kid definitely couldn't be so strong. It must be the treasured sword in his hand. That should be a sage-level artifact. The Archean sky prides of the nest of 10,000 dragons said coldly. The sky prides of the fire Qilin cave gritted their teeth. That's right, the blazing Qilin sword was definitely the treasured sword of the fire Qilin cave. But why was it in his hands? Chapter 2969. Damn it, I have to get to the bottom of this. How did he get it? These people are going crazy. That sword belongs to one of the fire Qilin cave's prodigies. However, it's in Zhan Wushuang's hands. Could it be that something happened to one of their prodigies? Now, I can't get out of here. Only by capturing Zhan Wushuang can I find out what happened outside. In front of him, Lin Xian looked at Zhan Wushuang, who was walking towards him, and sneered. He waved his arm and attacked again. With a slash of his sword, the terrifying sword Qi turned into a fire Qilin and roared. Roar! The power of this slash was even more terrifying. As soon as the fire Qilin appeared, it suppressed all directions. Countless large cracks appeared in the void and a black hole appeared. As if it was connected to hell, the fire Qilin roared in the black hole. Damn it! How can he be so powerful? In the distance, the Archean prodigies' bodies started to tremble. Zhan Wushuang also frowned, and a trace of seriousness appeared in his eyes. He had to admit that he had underestimated his opponent. That sword technique is indeed very powerful. But so what? He shouted coldly, clenched his fist, and attacked again. Boom, 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 boom. Each of them was like the sun. Not only that, his body swayed, and his speed was extremely fast. He tore through the void and charged towards Lin Xian. That was because he was completely enraged. He did not intend to be entangled with Zhan Wushuang anymore. He wanted to capture Zhan Wushuang in the most ferocious manner and forcefully take his soul. Whoosh! In an instant, he arrived in front of Lin Xian. Die, kid. He revealed a sinister smile and attacked at lightning speed. His large hand carried a sky full of lightning and struck in all directions, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body was penetrated by the lightning and disappeared. Oh no! An afterimage. Zhan Wushuang's pupils constricted. He could feel a biting, cold, murderous intent behind him. A sword light cut through the void and slashed towards his back. God of War armor. Zhan Wushuang roared, and mysterious runes appeared on his body. They quickly intertwined to form an armor to protect his body. At the same time, he changed positions and dodged quickly. Clang! When the sword landed on the divine battle armor, an earth-shattering sound rang out, causing Zhan Wushuang to be knocked back. The second sword slashed down from the sky. However, Zhang Wushuang dodged it. The sword brushed past his opponent's body and only managed to cut off a strand of his hair. What? Zhang Wushuang was pushed back. Seeing this scene, the other paragons felt their scalps go numb. Originally, they were here to keep an eye on Zhang Wushuang. After all, after Zhang Wushuang captured Lin Xian, they had to report it to their 7th-generation lord. But now? They realized that it was really a problem whether Zhang Wushuang could catch Lin Xian. The current Lin Xian was simply too strong. He was so strong that it exceeded their expectations. In fact, there were quite a few people who were trembling so much that they were on the verge of kneeling down. Damn brat, I want you dead. Zhang Wushuang soared into the sky and stood in the void like a celestial demon. Mysterious runes appeared on his body. Forming a series of hand seals, Zhang Xian swiped his hands across the air. The void where he was became extremely distorted, as if it had turned into chaos. How terrifying! What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why do I feel that he has distorted the entire space? The other paragons in the distance screamed. Indeed, Lin Xian struck out another golden sword light towards his opponent. However, the sharp sword chi became distorted in front of his opponent. None of the sword strikes could break through the space. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. The other paragons in the distance also exclaimed. Damn it, this Zhang Wushuang was too strong and strange. These people from the war tribe were all lunatics. They were born to fight, so they definitely had many mystiques and cultivation techniques. They were not weaker than the Silver tribe. As the top paragons of the younger generation of the war tribe, Zhang Wushuang's strength was indeed terrifying. Such a terrifying sword chi was actually neutralized by him. It was truly unbelievable. Lin Xian was also surprised. Originally, he had suppressed Zhang Wushuang with a few sword strikes. He thought that he could win easily. He did not expect his opponent to have some tricks up his sleeve, especially now that his opponent was standing in a distorted space. It was as if he had changed the entire world. He caused all the sword chi to deviate from him. Interesting. As expected of the top paragons of the war tribe, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He attacked again. He waved his sword again and again. At this moment, Lin Xian executed the 9-yang sword technique and displayed a powerful force. Flames flickered in the sky, and the entire world seemed to be melting. Just the sword chi alone made the paragons in the distance tremble, because they realized that they could not block the other party's sword chi. While they were shocked, they also felt a strong sense of fear. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At first, Zhang Wushuang could still distort space and change the direction of the sword chi so that they could not get close. But later, Zhang Wushuang's expression changed. He was originally confident and calm, but he was shocked again, because he realized that the other party's sword chi could directly break through the void. He had a mystique that could turn the void into nothingness, but he could not. The other party's sword chi contained an aura that could destroy everything. Damn it! It was the great dragon sword soul. Zhang Wushuang gritted his teeth. As a member of the war tribe, he had a deeper understanding of the great dragon sword soul than the other paragons. He knew that the great dragon sword soul could destroy everything. Therefore, he did not intend to passively defend anymore. He was prepared to take the initiative to attack. Buzz! A long saber appeared in the sky, emitting a bright light as it was held in his hand. Bright moon saber. Could it be that treasure? In the distance, a paragon from the nest of 10,000 dragons exclaimed. His eyes flickered as he stared at the saber in the sky. That's right, it was the bright moon saber. He did not expect Zhang Wushuang to have the bright moon saber. It was not weaker than the fire spirit sword. That's right, that kid did not have the advantage of a weapon. Could he continue to suppress Zhang Wushuang? It would be very difficult. He would probably be suppressed and might even be killed. In the distance, the paragons sneered again. Zhang Wushuang's aura erupted. His eyes were sharp, and his black hair danced wildly. It was as if he had turned into an unstoppable saber god. Kid, the game is over. Zhang Wushuang waved the bright moon saber, and saber lights that were like full moons pressed down from the sky. The saber light flashed, and killing intent soared into the sky, causing the expressions of the paragons in the distance to change again. Too powerful. I can't block his saber at all. Damn it. This guy can definitely compete with our Lord Fire Dragon King. He is actually not weaker than the 9th generation Lord. They were all stunned. At this moment, Zhan Wushuang was incomparably powerful. Every slash of his saber sent the flaming sword chi flying. Countless large cracks appeared in the sky. Fortunately, this was the incomparably mysterious Sky Flame City. Otherwise, this attack would definitely be able to sink everything within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. If the two of them continued fighting, the people within a radius of tens of millions of miles would probably be plunged into misery and suffering. Chapter 2970. Soon, Zhan Wushuang split the sea of fire in the sky. Then, he strode forward. Go to hell, brat. He slashed down with his saber again, and the cold saber light emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if a heavenly river had descended from the sky and slashed toward Lin Xian. The commotion here had already alarmed the ancient royal families in the distance. A few figures were hurrying over. However, most of them did not move. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, Yan Nantian, and Hua Xinyan all frowned. They naturally felt that there was an earth-shattering battle in the distance. In fact, even they were surprised by that surge of energy. In the dark, Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu were also very nervous. The Crimson Dragon also frowned, but at this moment, no one left. Their gazes were fixed in front of them. At this moment, something even more shocking was happening in the valley. This was even more terrifying than the battle between the top prodigies. Therefore, even though they knew that Lin Xian and Zhan Wushuang were fighting in the distance, no one went over. On the other side, the ancient prodigies who were watching the battle also kept retreating. They had no choice. The battle in front was really too terrifying. The saber light soared into the sky and turned into a murderous sword chi. The entire sky was shaking. If they did not retreat, they would probably be cut in half. A saber light like this was enough to kill these ancient royal prodigies. How could they not be shocked? Lin Xian was also met with great resistance, but he wasn't afraid. His eyes shone with a cold light, and the divine fire on his body surged. The dragon soul in his body roared. He used the blazing Qilin sword to perfection, and each strike was extremely terrifying. It collided with the bright moon saber. Each time, it was an earth-shattering collision. Buzz! The long sword danced, and on the blade, endless flames jumped and turned into a scorching sun. It kept rotating and squeezing, filling the sky as if it was going to crush the entire world. A monstrous scorching aura spread out. The sea of fire surged and covered the entire sky. At this moment, there was fire everywhere, and it was enough to destroy and melt everything. Buzz! On the other side, Zhan Wushuang roared as well. The bright moon saber in his hand shone brightly. Under the blade, a crescent moon was formed. It emitted a cold aura that could freeze everything. The 9 suns and the luminous moon were two completely opposite forces. When they collided, it was truly enough to destroy the world. Boom! Those primordial geniuses were sent flying. They screamed crazily. Lord 7th, come quickly. Lord Dragon King, we can't hold on any longer. They were furious, waiting for the arrival of the Flame Dragon King and Hua Muzhen. Together, they suppressed Lin Xian. Otherwise, the other party might really overturn the situation. However, no matter how they shouted, no one came over. The Fire Dragon King and the others did not appear. The Archean prodigies were terrified. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that something had happened in the valley? They did not dare to imagine. They wanted to investigate, but at this moment, between heaven and earth, the cold moonlight enveloped everything, cutting off all probing. The archaic paragons could only dodge with all their might to protect themselves. Damn it, what the hell is going on? They could not figure it out. Finally, in the midst of endless fear, between heaven and earth, the blazing flames disappeared, and so did the terrifying moonlight. The void returned to normal. Only the large cracks were quickly healing. Lin Xian and Zhan Wushuang stood in the void, facing each other. The aura on their bodies did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even colder. It made the Archean prodigies feel dizzy. Damn it! How could the two of them be so powerful? They are not from the royal family, but they are even more terrifying than us. Had Zhan Wushuang and that human kid reached such a heaven-defying stage? This was really a huge disaster. They wondered if the Flame Dragon King and Lord Seventh could suppress the two of them. The Archean prodigies were terrified. On the other side, Zhan Wushuang was even more shocked. To be honest, in his opinion, the other party had always been an ant. Although he was a human prodigy, he could not withstand a single blow in front of him. He could easily suppress him with a wave of his hand. But now, he had already used the luminous moonblade, and it was a peerless blade technique. However, he could not do anything to the other party. He was even suppressed by the other party. It was only because he had a battle constitution and a treasured blade in his hand that he could withstand the other party's attacks. Otherwise, if it were any other Archean prodigies, they would have been killed long ago. No, this kid had the 9 young divine constitution and the dragon sword soul. If he was allowed to continue growing, he would definitely be a powerful enemy. It would be difficult to contend with him on the path to becoming a great emperor. Therefore, he had to get rid of him today. Thinking of this, Zhan Wushuang's eyes burst out with cold killing intent. He decided that he could not let the other party continue to grow. You want to kill me? I think you should go to hell first. Lin Xian sneered. He also had the intention to kill, because he also realized that the other party was very powerful. One had to know that an ordinary prodigy, even the 10th generation grandchild, would have been killed by him. But now, the other party was actually evenly matched with him. He had to admit that the war tribe was indeed a very mysterious and terrifying race. He could not let the other party continue to grow. He moved the blazing Qilin sword in his hand, and the divine fire on his body burned. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a sword god. He merged with the blazing Qilin sword as a powerful sword aura swept in all directions. A sword light flew across the 9 heavens and charged towards Zhan Wushuang. Zhan Wushuang snorted. It's useless. No matter how strong you are, you can't hurt me. He waved the bright moon blade and faced the attack. Heavens, that blade can kill us instantly. But the other party easily neutralized it. The Archean prodigies in the distance felt their scalps go numb. Seeing that the other party had neutralized the sword, Lin Xian looked very calm. His eyes were very calm, because all of this was within his expectations. In the next moment, the dragon's sword soul in his body was activated and let out a loud dragon roar. The 9 young divine fire on his body was constantly rotating. It formed mysterious runes one after another. Buzz. In the sky, the sword light shone and turned into a fire dragon that charged towards Zhan Wushuang again. Zhan Wushuang snorted and slashed forward with the bright moon blade. With a clang, it slashed at the blazing Qilin sword aura and exploded with a shocking vibration. But this time, it was not sent flying. Not only that, the fire dragon roared and the flames on its body surged into the sky. It continued to attack Zhan Wushuang. The bright moon blade in Zhan Wushuang's hand danced continuously and turned into a silver river. Damn it, what kind of sword aura is this? Zhan Wushuang's face changed again. The sword aura this time was far beyond his imagination. It was as if he was not facing the sword aura, but a real dragon. A monstrous fire dragon. Kill. Lin Xian roared and continued to attack. Chapter 2971. One strike after another, a fire dragon flew out with each strike. Hundreds of sword energies were released in a row, and the entire sky exploded. Countless fire dragons surged and roared as they charged towards Zhan Wushuang. This scene caused the primordial elites to scream in horror. Damn it! How could he have such power? Impossible. That fire dragon sword energy should be his trump card. It was already impressive that he could use it once. How could he use it hundreds of times in a row? These people were all stunned. In their opinion, the fire dragon sword energy was so powerful that it must be a powerful killing move. Since it was called a killing move, it couldn't be used too much. However, Lin Xian's actions had completely exceeded their expectations. They were all stunned, especially those from the nest of 10,000 dragons. Their bodies were trembling. Damn it, I can actually feel the suppression of my bloodline and soul. They were about to vomit blood. They were real dragons, but in front of this sword energy, they couldn't help but kneel down and tremble. Zhan Wushuang's expression also changed. His gaze was gloomy as he used his terrifying battle strength to send all the fire dragons flying. However, gradually, his heart sank. Because Lin Xian continued to attack, he seemed to have endless divine power. Soon, thousands of fire dragons surged out and enveloped the entire world. They even engulfed Zhan Wushuang. These fire dragon sword energies were evolved from the 9-yang sword technique and the great dragon sword soul. They were really powerful. Just one of them was enough to kill all the primeval theocrats. At this moment, thousands of fire dragons attacked together and surrounded Zhan Wushuang. They really had the power to destroy heaven and earth. Those primordial elites all fainted from fright. In the entire immortal realm, all the space was trembling. Other than the valley that was still intact, the other places were all covered in terrifying cracks. Zhan Wushuang roared as he used his bloodline power and activated his unparalleled battle body. With the bright moon saber in hand, he slashed in all directions like a demon king. He sent all the fire dragons flying, but gradually, his expression changed. This was because every time he sent one flying, 10 fire dragons would rush over. When he sent 2 flying, 100 fire dragons would rush over. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't resist such a terrifying sword chi divine ability. Damn it, how could he be so strong? Could it be that his power would never dry up? For the first time, Zhan Wushuang felt fear. After killing more than 500 fire dragons in a row, Zhan Wushuang's face turned solemn. This scene immediately convinced the Sky Prides who were watching from afar. In their eyes, this was simply a godlike existence. However, what made them even more alarmed was that the number of fire dragons in the sky did not decrease. Instead, it increased. It was as if there was no end to them. Finally, under such a terrifying attack, Zhan Wushuang showed a flaw. The 3 fire dragons crashed into his body and sent him flying. Fortunately, he had an unparalleled battle body, which gave him a strong physique and a top-level armor. Even so, his armor was still shattered. Zhan Wushuang spat out a mouthful of blood that dyed the sky red. Damn it, you actually dared to hurt me. Zhan Wushuang roared crazily. His eyes were like lightning that could see through everything as he looked into the distance. In the endless void, Lin Xian held the killing sword in his hand and stepped on the dancing fire dragons. Countless dragon shadows floated around him. At this moment, he was like the supreme dragon emperor that made people tremble. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Zhan Wushuang's eyelids twitched wildly. He knew that this battle couldn't continue. After killing more than 500 fire dragons, he was already injured. At this moment, there were thousands of fire dragons around him. How could he fight? Let's go. With a cold snort, Zhan Wushuang decided to retreat. Firstly, he was no longer confident in this battle. Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his imagination. Secondly, he was very confused. Logically speaking, such an earth-shattering scene should have alarmed the entire space. Why didn't the Fire Dragon King and the others come? Could it be that something had happened in the valley? He didn't know. He had to go over and take a look. His body swayed, and he tore open the void and flew into the distance. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Lin Xian sneered and waved his long sword. Countless fire dragons surged out and charged towards Zhan Wushuang. Damn it, get out of my way. Zhan Wushuang roared and swept his right leg. It turned into a divine spear and blasted away some of the fire dragons that flew over. He blasted away a total of 5 fire dragons, but there were more that were charging towards him. Kid, do you really want to force me to kill you? Zhan Wushuang roared and the bloodline power in his body surged. A powerful force suppressed all directions. He was really angry. His opponent had gone too far. He guessed that his opponent must have used all his trump cards to kill him. He didn't want to fight, but it didn't mean that he was afraid of his opponent. That was because he still had a few powerful killing moves that he hadn't used yet. As long as he used them, it wouldn't be difficult to kill his opponent. However, He wanted to use these trump cards to fight for the heavenly fire and the mysterious divine cauldron. Therefore, he didn't want to use them now. However, if his opponent really didn't know what was good for him, he didn't mind using some of his trump cards to kill the detestable kid in front of him. Going too far? Lin Xian sneered. Back then, when you attacked me time and time again, did you think that you were going too far? Now that you can't beat me, you think you're going too far. What a joke. As he spoke, he swung his sword a few more times. Suddenly, the fire dragons that filled the sky hit the bright moon saber and made it tremble. The light on the saber dimmed a lot. Zhan Wushuang's armor was even shattered. Many parts of it fell off. His body was also charred black. It was burned by the 9 suns' divine fire. Buzz. The bright moon saber was almost sent flying by the impact of 300 fire dragons. This time, Zhan Wushuang's injuries were even more serious. His body was dyed red with blood. Damn kid, I'll never let you off. The next time I see you, I'll kill you with my saber. After saying that, Zhan Wushuang turned around and fled. The Archean paragons below were all stunned. What? Zhan Wushuang fled? Zhan Wushuang, one of the most powerful geniuses in the 8 barren lands, had escaped? And the person who was chasing after him was actually a human kid? This made everyone feel as if they were in a dream. It was unreal. Where did he run to? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Stepping on the dragon shadow, he quickly gave chase. In the mysterious valley, the Fire Dragon King, Huamuzhen, Feng Yinxue, and the others were stunned. Even the Crimson Dragon King and the others were dumbfounded. To be honest, the battle in the distance really made them anxious. They wanted to see how the battle between the two sides was going. However, they didn't leave because something even more shocking happened in front of them. At that time, they wanted to leave, but Yin Nantian stood out and prepared to enter the valley. This scene made the expressions of Huamuzhen and the others change. They frowned. What was Yin Nantian doing? Chapter 2972. Although the other party was powerful, he should be on par with them. Even they, who had the royal bloodline, did not dare to enter, but the other party dared to try. Did he want to die? Oh, Brother Yin, you want to enter the valley? Huaxinyan asked with a smile. Yin Nantian did not say anything. His expression was solemn, and his body exuded a mysterious aura. Mysterious runes surged out of his body and surrounded him. Soon, he arrived in front of the valley. If he took another step forward, he would enter the valley. Those people's hearts were in their mouths. Previously, Fengshui City had cast a crimson phoenix, but it was burned to ashes by the terrifying divine fire in the valley. It was conceivable that the divine fire in the valley was enough to threaten them. They did not know where Yin Nantian got his confidence from to fight against those things. Could it be that he had a treasure in his hands? Did he have a sacred artifact? They did not know. Yin Nantian's expression was extremely solemn. He stared at the divine furnace in the valley. Buzz. A piercing light burst out from his eyes. He formed a seal with his palms, and mysterious runes rushed into the sky one after another. As soon as the runes appeared, the world changed. A violent energy rushed out, causing the Fire Dragon King and the others to tense up. Huamuzhen also felt that the blood in his body seemed to be melting. Fengshui's expression changed drastically. Oh no, what's that? They quickly retreated to the back. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon King and the others also changed their expressions and quickly retreated. Fortunately, they were not close to the valley. At this moment, only Yin Nantian was left in front of the valley. There were 9 mysterious runes flashing around him. Are those Taoist runes? Feeling the shocking power, the Archean prodigies trembled. The Fire Dragon King and the others were extremely solemn. They stared at the 9 ancient runes. They shook their heads slightly. To be honest, they did not understand what those runes were. Judging by the aura, they must be Taoist runes. It was too terrifying. Even they felt like they were being penetrated. However, the other party was not a saint. How could he use Taoist runes? Taoist runes were condensed and manifested by the laws of heaven and earth. They were used by saints. Unless, of course, the other party had the legendary born Taoism aptitude, which allowed them to fuse with the Taoism since birth, allowing them to cast Taoist patterns even before they became a saint. However, they had never heard that Yin Nantian had such a constitution. Damn it, this guy actually has such a trump card. Once these 9 talismans that were close to Tao patterns appeared, they might really be able to allow the other party to enter the valley. Sure enough, the 9 mysterious runes revolved around Yin Nantian, providing him with great power. Yin Nantian took a deep breath, then took a step forward and entered the valley. As soon as he entered, countless divine flames appeared in the valley and surged toward him. Fortunately, these 9 mysterious runes were too terrifying. He had actually managed to block the attacks of the mysterious flames. Seeing this scene, everyone's heart beat wildly. He went in. This guy actually went in. Heavens, could it be that he could really obtain the illusionary divine furnace? Even Hua Muzhin's expression changed. Yin Nantian also heaved a sigh of relief. Clearly, he wasn't too sure before. However, the current situation allowed him to settle down. In the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile as he walked forward again. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Yin Nantian gradually walked toward the center of the valley. The distance between him and the illusionary divine furnace was getting closer and closer. Everyone's hearts were in their throats. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Shun Jingqiu's eyes were wide open. Among them, the Crimson Dragon was extremely shocked. His head kept shaking. Shun Jingqiu, who was next to him, was very worried. She said, "Big strange dragon, you're not going crazy, are you?" Murong Qingqing also asked through voice transmission, "Could it be? What did you find?" The Crimson Dragon gasped and also said through voice transmission, "Damn it, that's not a Tao pattern. If it's not a Tao pattern, what is it? Emperor pattern. He actually knows the Emperor's talismans. Damn it. He has indeed obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. Emperor pattern. Are you saying that those are the talismans left behind by a great emperor?" Murong Qingsheng was also extremely shocked when he heard that. Shun Jingqiu's little face was even more dazed. The great emperor was the existence at the peak of the martial arts path. It was the dream of all warriors. No one knew exactly how strong the great emperor was. After all, no one had seen it with their own eyes. However, from the records in the ancient books, they knew that once a great emperor appeared, he would reign supreme and sweep across the universe. No one in the world was a match for him. It could be said that he was the strongest person. He could easily kill countless saints. He could turn the world upside down with a raise of his hand. One could imagine how terrifying the talismans left behind by such a person were. It was no wonder that he could resist the mysterious flame with only 9 talismans. This Yin Nantian was too amazing. They wondered which great emperor's inheritance he had obtained. Murong Qingqing's expression was solemn. Shun Jingqiu's little face turned pale. Wouldn't that mean that he was invincible? As soon as this talisman appeared, even a saint would not be able to break it. This was simply an invincible position. However, the Crimson Dragon shook his head. The true great emperor's talismans were naturally unparalleled in the world, but Yin Nantian was only a young man. How could he display a complete emperor's talisman? I think he must have only comprehended a trace of the emperor's talisman and evolved these 9 talismans. If these 9 talismans were the true emperor's talismans, not to mention this valley, the entire Sky Flame City would probably be destroyed. So that's how it is. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu finally understood. Yin Nantian must have obtained the great emperor's inheritance and comprehended some of the great emperor's talismans. At this moment, the techniques that he displayed had indeed surpassed them. Do you think he can succeed? Murong Qingsheng was nervous. Shun Jingqiu even said that if he went, those people would not let him go. When the time came, there would be a great battle. They wondered how Big Brother Lin Xian was doing. They were very worried about Lin Xian's situation. There was no hurry. They would wait and see. Although he had the great emperor's inheritance, his strength was still too weak. He was not a sage yet. Sky Flame City was too mysterious. More importantly, the flames on the Void Wave Divine Furnace were too terrifying. They wondered if Yin Nantian would be able to obtain it. The Crimson Dragon's eyes flickered. Everyone else held their breaths. The Flame Dragon King stared at it for a long time and screamed, "I know. This is an Emperor's talisman." Huomuzhen and Feng Yunshua's pupils shrank when they heard this. Emperor's talisman. No wonder it had such terrifying power. This was not a Dao talisman. Dao talisman was something that existed in heaven and earth. It was something that sages comprehended and used. However, talismans were different. Talismans were created by experts based on their own experience, or Dao talismans. However, different experts created different talismans with different strengths. The talismans created by the Great Emperor were definitely terrifying and mysterious. A single talisman could probably kill a sage. This was the peak of the Great Emperor. The members of the immemorial theocrats were shocked. Chapter 29, 73. He didn't expect Yin Nantian to be so powerful. He even had Great Emperor runes. Huomuzhen's eyes flickered, and his face was extremely gloomy. The 9 Great Emperor runes blocked the mysterious flame. Yin Nantian must have other tricks up his sleeve. Perhaps it was passed down by the Great Emperor. If that was the case, he might really be able to obtain the Great Void Divine Furnace. Huomuzhen's eyes were filled with anxiety and gloominess when he thought of this. Because before this, no one could do anything, so they just let it be. But now, Yin Nantian had such a trick up his sleeve. Should he make a move? To be honest, he definitely wanted to make a move. After all, the Great Void Divine Furnace was extremely precious. However, if he made a move now, he would fall out with Yin Nantian. Even the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others would not hold back. They would definitely make a move. At that time, there would be a huge battle. It would be great if he could obtain the Great Void Divine Furnace in the end. If he couldn't obtain it, he probably wouldn't even have a chance to obtain the Heavenly Fire. After all, if he made a move, these people would no longer be in the alliance. Moreover, it seemed that Yin Nantian was very confident. However, whether he could succeed in the end was still unknown. Therefore, Huomuzhen's mind was filled with thoughts. On the other side, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also had solemn expressions. It seemed that they were also struggling. Huoxinyan had a sinister smile on his face. No one knew what he was thinking. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon and the others were all waiting for an opportunity. In the valley, Yin Nantian walked forward with the help of the 9 Great Runes. However, he stopped in the end. This was because there were terrifying flame runes flashing in a 10-mile radius around the Great Void Divine Furnace. From the top of the cauldron, it spread out in all directions, forming a terrifying formation. This should be the 8 Desolation Divine Fire formation that Huomuzhen mentioned. This formation was so terrifying that even Yin Nantian didn't dare to casually step forward. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he couldn't. This was because when he took a step forward, the 9 great runes on his body cracked. This made him know that he couldn't go any further. However, it was already very difficult to reach this place. Next, he had to use another method. Having obtained the Great Emperor's inheritance, he didn't just have the Great Emperor's talisman. Yin Nantian took a deep breath. His body glowed brightly as he formed one ancient seal after another. In the next moment, the void above the valley swirled and turned into a vortex. A mysterious hand that was as long as a hand emerged from the vortex and grabbed at the illusionary divine furnace. Seeing this scene, Feng Yinxue frowned. No, if he could grab it from a distance, he would have snatched it long ago. He had unleashed a blood phoenix phantom before, but it was burned to ashes as soon as it reached the valley. Even though Zhang Xian was only using his palm, his fate was likely to be similar to that of the Crimson Phoenix. He would probably be burned to ashes in an instant. However, in the next moment, Feng Yinxue's eyes widened in disbelief. He discovered that the mysterious palm did not shatter. Instead, it moved downward and enveloped the illusionary divine furnace. Damn it, how is this possible? Not to mention him, even the Fire Dragon King and Huomuzhen's pupil shrank. It seemed like the other party's methods were indeed mysterious. Huoxinyan and Yin also stopped smiling. Their expressions became solemn. The ancient chaos hand. I didn't expect you to obtain the inheritance of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. The ancient Chaos Great Emperor. The Fire Dragon King and the others looked solemn. They naturally had a deep understanding of the human race's great emperors. The ancient Chaos Great Emperor was a very terrifying one in the past. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon King and the others were also shocked. They finally figured out which great emperor's inheritance Yin Nantian had obtained. Could it be that he was really going to get it? Feng Inshue murmured. The Fire Dragon King's eyes shone with a cold light. He was already prepared. As long as Yin Nantian took the illusionary divine furnace and left the valley, he would make his move. He wouldn't let the treasure fall into the hands of others. On the other side, Huamuzhen sneered. It was impossible. He was too greedy. He shook his head. Although Yin Nantian had displayed powerful strength and even used the ancient chaos hand, he didn't think that the other party would succeed. His understanding of the illusionary divine furnace was deeper than others. With such a terrifying divine fire, perhaps even a saint wouldn't be able to stop it, not to mention the other party. Sure enough, in the next moment, a large crack appeared on the ancient chaos hand. The illusionary divine furnace was overflowing with flames, as if it was going to burn everything. Yin Nantian's face was incomparably pale. His eyes were filled with deep shock. He didn't expect that he wouldn't be able to catch it. Instead, he would be injured by the other party. Thinking of this, he sighed in his heart. It seemed that it was impossible to completely take away this mysterious and terrifying illusionary divine furnace. However, he wouldn't give up. Since he couldn't take it away, he would open it in front of everyone. He wanted to see what kind of treasure was in the illusionary divine furnace. In the next moment, he grabbed the cauldron of the illusionary divine furnace. With a boom, the ancient chaos hand erupted with a terrifying aura. It directly grabbed the top of the furnace and then pulled it up forcefully. At this moment, Yin Nantian was like a great emperor who had awakened and displayed terrifying strength. The 9 runes beside him were constantly shining. While resisting the attacks of the divine fire, they were frantically absorbing the spiritual energy here to provide Yin Nantian with power. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient chaos hand unleashed its might. The top of the illusionary divine furnace rumbled and a crack appeared. Seeing this scene, Huamuzhen's pupil shrank. Damn it! Could it be that he could really open the illusionary divine furnace? Thinking of this, his heart thumped wildly. The others also looked solemn. It seemed that there was hope. Even if they couldn't take away the illusionary divine furnace, it was still extremely good to snatch the treasure inside. The Crimson Dragon, who was hiding in the dark, was also extremely shocked. This Yin Nantian was really terrifying. Usually, he hadn't seen him fight many times. He didn't expect his methods to be so terrifying. It seemed that he had to be more wary of him in the future. Open! In the valley, Yin Nantian roared. The 9 runes on his body erupted at the same time. They were like 9 suns. The ancient chaos hand also became solid. It was as if the real hand of a great emperor had descended from the sky. It directly lifted the top of the illusionary divine furnace. With a boom, the illusionary divine furnace let out an earth-shattering sound. A desolate aura rushed out in all directions. A terrifying pressure shrouded everyone's heart, causing their souls to tremble. However, their eyes were fixed on the front. They wanted to see clearly what was inside the illusionary divine furnace. However, the illusionary divine furnace was too mysterious. It was chaotic inside. It was as if it wasn't a furnace, but a real world. They couldn't see clearly at all. In this chaotic void, there was a fiery red light that streaked across and circled above the illusionary divine furnace. It carried a terrifying flame energy and a thick fragrance. This fragrance was simply too astonishing. Even the Crimson Dragon King and the others had never seen it before. What was that? Chapter 2974. A divine pill? They widened their eyes because they realized that the fiery red light kept changing, but it looked like a pill from the great void divine furnace. It had existed for countless years. This was an immortal pill. These people were stunned. Their breathing quickened, and their eyes turned red. They wanted to snatch it immediately. After all, Sky Flame City was extremely mysterious. Even the great emperors could not see through its mysteries. It was rumored that this was a huge city that fell from the celestial world. The pill inside was definitely an immortal pill. Brother Yin, let me lend you a helping hand. At this moment, the Fire Dragon King laughed loudly. His eyes shone with a cold light. The dragon blood on his body surged, turning into a fire dragon shadow that roared in the sky. That fire dragon was extremely valiant and extraordinary. It extended a dragon claw and grabbed towards the valley. It wanted to grab that fiery red immortal pill in its hand. Humph! Let me give you a helping hand too. Huomuzhen also attacked. The fire Qilin on his body shone brightly. Qilin arm. With a roar, endless bloodline power formed a Qilin arm in front of him and grabbed at the immortal pill. On the other side, Feng Yingxue shouted. She did not say anything, but she also attacked with all her might. The phoenix shadow rushed into the sky. This time, it was much more terrifying than the blood phoenix. They attacked aggressively. It seemed like they wanted to snatch the immortal pill that had just appeared. Huaxinyan also made his move. The four top sky prides attacked together. In the valley, Yin Nantian snorted coldly. He had used all his strength to open the great void divine furnace and obtain such an immortal pill. How could he give it to others? With a roar, the 9 runes around him shone brightly. He was about to counterattack. However, at this moment, his pupils shrank. Not good. He quickly retreated. The great void divine furnace in front of him reacted to the attacks of the 4 top sky prides. There was a loud boom. A terrifying force burst out from the great void divine furnace. Together with the 8 barren divine fire array, it exploded and swept out in all directions. Boom, boom. The attacks of the 4 top sky prides shattered in an instant. The fire dragon, the Qilin arm, the phoenix shadow, and Huaxinyan's powerful attack were all turned into ashes. The ancient chaos hand was not spared either. It shattered in an instant and turned into nothingness. It was simply too powerful. It was simply not something that they could withstand. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yunxue, and the other 3 were injured. They retreated and vomited blood, their faces pale. Yin Nantian, who was in the valley, was the first to bear the brunt of the attack. In an instant, he was engulfed by the endless divine fire. Damn it! Did I fail? Huomuzhen gritted his teeth in anger. Feng Yingxue and the others also had ugly looks on their faces. That strike just now had made them tremble. Fortunately, they were outside the valley. Otherwise, they would likely end up in an extremely miserable state. Thinking of this, they looked ahead at the valley that was surrounded by endless flames. Was Yin Nantian killed? Even though he had the Monarch Talisman, they did not think he could survive the attack. Unless a true great emperor had awakened. In Murong Qingxing, Shun Jingqiu was equally nervous. The dark red divine furnace shook its head. Damn, what a pity. A descendant of the earth had been killed just like that. Whoosh! Just when everyone thought that Yin Nantian had been burned to ashes by the divine fire, the void outside the valley split open and a figure appeared. It was Yin Nantian. However, his face was abnormally pale, without a trace of blood. He's not dead? Everyone was dumbfounded. Even the Crimson Dragon was stunned. What's going on? How did he do it? Logically speaking, even a sage would not be able to withstand such a terrifying divine fire. How did he survive? Could it be? The Crimson Dragon looked at the valley. In the valley, the terrifying divine fire slowly disappeared. A broken talisman slowly floated down from the sky. The ancient Chaos Talisman. You actually have such a thing. Huaxinyan also screamed. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also shocked. No wonder he could survive. They had heard of the ancient Chaos Talisman before. It was equivalent to a death substitute talisman. In times of crisis, Yin Nantian would probably use such a precious talisman to save himself. Indeed, Yin Nantian's face was extremely gloomy, as if blood was about to drip from it. He felt a pang of meat. The ancient Chaos Talisman was extremely precious. Even he did not have many of them. Every time he used it, he would have one less. It was a life-saving measure. No matter how big the crisis was, once he used the ancient chaos talisman, he would be able to escape. Originally, he thought that he might not be able to use it in this lifetime. But who would have thought that in this mysterious valley, he would actually use up an ancient chaos emperor talisman? What was worse was that he did not obtain any treasures at all. The ancient chaos talisman. You're actually the successor of the ancient chaos emperor. At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the sky. Then, a figure descended. Zhan Wushuang. At this moment, Zhan Wushuang was in an extremely sorry state. His black hair was disheveled, his body was bleeding, and his armor was broken. Yin Nantian snorted and looked at the other party. Then, he was stunned. Not only him, but the Fire Dragon King and the others were also stunned. What's going on? Zhan Wushuang was injured? What was he doing? Zhan Wushuang seemed to be seriously injured. Could it be that he had activated some supreme array again? Otherwise, he would not be so injured. Let's see where you can run to. Just as they were shocked, a cold voice came from the sky again. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Endless dragon shadows wrapped around a figure and quickly descended. It was Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a sword god. He was murderous and unstoppable. He pointed the blazing Qilin sword at Zhan Wushuang. What? It's this kid? Could it be that Zhan Wushuang was injured by this kid? That's impossible. The Fire Dragon King and the others were stunned. They stared at Lin Xian in disbelief. This shouldn't be. Zhan Wushuang was just an ant. How could he be so powerful? Zhan Wushuang was at the same level as them and was extremely powerful. However, although this human kid was powerful, they did not take him seriously. From the beginning to the end, they did not even look at each other in the eye. But now, the ant in their eyes had actually managed to injure geniuses of the same cultivation level as them. And from the looks of it, he had been chasing after him. Damn it, how could this be? What was going on? Huamuzhen and the others looked gloomy. They tried to recall the geniuses they had sent out. Because they had been watching the battle, they thought that they would know what had happened if they called those geniuses over. Whoosh, a few figures ran over from afar. It was Liang Luo. Soon, Huamuzhen and the others looked extremely gloomy. It was really this kid who had injured Zhan Wushuang. Moreover, this kid had hidden his strength, which was far beyond their imagination. Damn it, this made them restless. They did not expect another peerless enemy to appear. Lin Xian stared at Zhan Wushuang. At the same time, he stared at Yin Nantian. He was really shocked. It was rumored that Yin Nantian had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. He did not expect it to be confirmed today. Moreover, it was Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. Chapter 29:75. He had seen how Yin Nantian tried to snatch the Void Divine Furnace. However, Yin Nantian did not succeed in the end. However, this did not mean that Yin Nantian was weak. On the contrary, Yin Nantian was ridiculously strong. One had to know that the Fire Dragon King and the others could not do anything. However, Yin Nantian did it. Moreover, he almost succeeded. Was this the successor of the Great Emperor? He was indeed terrifying. Originally, Lin Xian had assumed that only Leaf Doudinier and Dustless would be a match for him among the humans. However, it seemed that Yin Nantian was really terrifying. His skills were probably above Wu Dao's. Damn brat, don't you go too far. Zhan Wushuang roared in anger. Even now, Yin Nantian still dared to point his sword at him. This made him very embarrassed. Lin Xian retracted his gaze from Yin Nantian. He then looked at Zhan Wushuang in disappointment and sneered. Why? Did you think that someone would back you up just because you came here? You're still fighting the #1 genius? What a piece of trash. You need someone to back you up? Forget it. A piece of trash like you is not worthy of my help. Lin Xian retracted his sword. You. Zhan Wushuang was so angry that he vomited blood. He really could not defeat Lin Xian now. Moreover, he was injured. It was not good for him to use his trump card now. Hence, he snorted and stared at Yin Nantian with a gloomy face. He swore that he would not let Yin Nantian go as long as he had the chance. Lin Xian ignored Zhan Wushuang. He did not attack again. After all, Zhan Wushuang was not the only one here. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also here. If he wanted to attack, these guys would definitely attack. There was another reason as well. The Fire Spirit Pearl that he had previously absorbed was actually reacting to him. He had already absorbed the energy in the Fire Spirit Pearl. However, the Fire Spirit Pearl did not shatter. It was like a sparkling crystal that remained in the mysterious small sword. At this moment, the Fire Spirit Pearl vibrated again. Something must have triggered the Fire Spirit Pearl. Was it the Void Divine Furnace? Or the mysterious Heaven Fire? Lin Xian did not know. However, he felt that this might be an opportunity. Therefore, he did not intend to attack again. On the other side, the Flame Dragon King and the others also had gloomy expressions. They looked at the great Void Divine Furnace in front of them, shook their heads and sighed. If even Yin Nantian couldn't get it, then they probably wouldn't have a chance either. Therefore, these people either left the valley and returned to the fiery lake to prepare to break the formation and seize the heavenly flame. Otherwise, they would walk to the side and search for other king medicines. Some even sat down cross-legged to recover from their injuries. Lin Xian also came to a secluded place and sat down cross-legged. From the looks of it, he was recovering his strength. In fact, while he was recovering his strength, he was also sending a voice transmission to tell her about the Fire Spirit Pearl in his body. The Crimson Dragon was also surprised. It seemed like the Fire Spirit Pearl was indeed related to something here. He just didn't know. Which one was it? Lin Xian asked. Ruzalong, do you have the confidence to break these formations? The Crimson Dragon took a deep breath. It wasn't impossible to crack it, but it would take some time. It might take 1 or 2 years, or maybe 8 or 10 years. After all, you know that these formations are unusual. Lin Xian sighed after hearing that. Even the Crimson Dragon said so. It would be even more difficult for others to crack it. Suddenly, he exclaimed in surprise. He found that the Fire Spirit Pearl in his body was suddenly covered with dense patterns. He had seen these patterns before, but he had been absorbing energy back then and didn't pay attention to them. Now, it seemed that there might be another secret. He studied it carefully and found that it seemed to be a formation. Thinking of this, Lin Xian said, Ruzalong, protect me secretly. He closed his eyes, and his soul entered the space inside the small sword to study the Fire Spirit Pearl. The others didn't know at all. They all thought that Lin Xian was recuperating. As for those people, they began to walk in all directions. For a moment, the surroundings were eerily quiet. Gradually, Huamuzhen and the others came to the fiery lake again, preparing to crack the heavenly flame formation. The Fire Dragon King and the 3 ancient royal family elites were busy. Everyone was trying to crack the formation. Around the fiery lake, runes were everywhere, and flames were intertwined. It was a strange scene. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. 3 days had passed, and no one had any clue at all. However, they didn't give up. They knew that it was impossible to crack it in a short time. However, these people didn't give up either. Huamuzhen and the others were even more solemn. They used all that they had learned in their lives. On the other side, Lin Xian also opened his eyes, revealing a trace of ecstasy. Excited. He was really too excited. In the past 3 days, his soul had entered the mysterious small sword to study the Fire Spirit Pearl. He found that the patterns in the Fire Spirit Pearl were actually formations. To be precise, there were 2 formations. One was called the Heavenly Flame Formation, and the other was called the 8 Barons Divine Flame Formation. Not only were the 2 formations recorded in it, but it also recorded the methods to crack them. This made Lin Xian wild with joy. Weren't the Heavenly Flame Formation and the 8 Barons Divine Flame Formation the 2 formations to protect the Heavenly Flame and the Void Divine Furnace? Outside, Huamuzhen and the other top prodigies had used countless methods, but to no avail. However, he had actually found a way to crack it. He was too excited. It seemed like it was time to make a move. However, it was impossible for him to brazenly attempt to breach the 2 spirit formations, because even if he cracked it, the treasures might not necessarily be his in the end. Although he was a top prodigy, there were too many opponents. If the three supreme ancient theocrats joined forces, he wouldn't be able to fight them. Therefore, he had to think of a way to let these people kill each other first, and then he would be the fisherman to reap the benefits. Lin Xian transmitted the news to the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Shan Jingqiu. When the three of them heard, their hearts beat wildly, especially the Crimson Dragon, who was trembling with excitement. Do you really have a way to crack it? Lin Xian nodded, but how to do it was still a problem. Murong Qingqing sighed, Brother Xian, I think it's better to choose one of them. It's not realistic to get both. Indeed, Lin Xian wasn't too greedy. As long as he could get one of the treasures, this trip would not be in vain. Shan Jingqiu blinked her beautiful eyes and said, when Yin Nantian opened the void divine furnace, there was a ball of fiery red light shining. In the end, it turned into an immortal pill. According to my perception, the red pill's aura is very similar to the heavenly flame in the flaming lake. Therefore, I guess that the red pill must be related to the heavenly flame. Perhaps it has some components of the heavenly flame. What? There's such a thing? Lin Xian was shocked when he heard that. Even Murong Qingqing and the Crimson Dragon were shocked. Chapter 2976. To be honest, they only knew that the red pill was mysterious and contained terrifying power. However, they did not know if it had anything to do with the heavenly fire. Of course, they did not doubt Shan Jingqiu's words, because they knew that Shan Jingqiu had an innate spirit body. Such a spirit body was very sensitive to power. Perhaps Shan Jingqiu was the only one who could sense it among all the elite prodigies present. In that case, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He had an idea. Why don't we give up on the heavenly fire? Firstly, the pill contained the heavenly fire. Huomuzhen and the others were studying the heavenly fire. It seemed that they wanted to seize the heavenly fire. If we break the array now, they would definitely go crazy and fight for the heavenly fire. When they fight, we can take the opportunity to break the 8 barren divine fire array and get the void sky divine furnace. Even if we can't take the furnace away, it would be great if we can get the pill inside. After all, the heavenly fire was good, but the void sky divine furnace was even more mysterious. There might be other treasures inside besides the red pill. However, what if they fight here after breaking the array? We can't go to the valley and take the void sky divine furnace. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. It was fine. Fire Qilin Cave had been plotting for a long time. Huomuzhen was powerful, and they knew Skyfire City very well. If they could get the heavenly fire, they would definitely leave. Don't forget about the teleportation array in the garden. They would definitely use that teleportation array to leave. Therefore, there would be a big hunt. After they leave, we just have to seize the Void Sky Divine Furnace. Lin Xian's plan was very good. Murong Qingqing and the others nodded when they heard it. All right, let's do it. Lin Xian could not take the initiative to attack. After all, it would be too obvious. Therefore, he told the Crimson Dragon the way to break the array. He told the Crimson Dragon to do it secretly. After all, they were covered by the mysterious feathers, and no one could see them. Then, let's get started. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. Then, he went outside the valley again, pulled out the Fire Qilin sword, and kept bombarding the valley. He wanted to create a commotion to attract the attention of those people, so that the Crimson Dragon could proceed quietly. As expected, Lin Xian's side began to attack the valley. All sorts of terrifying divine abilities and martial arts were displayed. Rumbling sounds rang out as flames filled the air. Sword Qi danced in the air, attracting the attention of Huomuzhen and the others in the distance. Damn it! What is this brat trying to do? Was he crazy? Humph! Did he think that he could break the 8 Barons' divine fire array just because he could defeat Zhan Wushuang? What an idiot! These people sneered disdainfully. However, they did not know that beside them, the Crimson Dragon was quietly cracking the formation. Lin Xian's solution was obtained from the Fire Spirit Pearl. It was very profound and mysterious. He only needed to change the arrangement of some runic patterns to break the array formation. Therefore, the Dark Rainbow Divine Dragon's operation could be said to be silent. 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. There were a total of 49 spots. In the end, The Crimson Dragon cracked them one by one. When the last one was cracked, the Crimson Dragon hurriedly left with Murong Qingqing and the others. Not long after they left, a white mist suddenly appeared around the fiery lake, followed by a series of deep voices. The entire ground began to tremble. Damn it, what happened? Hua Muzhen and the others were shocked. At first, they thought that something was wrong with Lin Xian's side. However, they realized that it was not the case. There was a problem with the fiery lake around them. Could it be that the formation had been opened? They were extremely shocked. Impossible. They had been searching for so long, but they could not find any clues. How did the formation break? Could it be that someone was lucky and accidentally triggered the mechanism to break the formation? The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered. After all, it was not only the top prodigies who were cracking the formation. The other prodigies of the 10,000 ancient races were also cracking the formation. There were so many people. Perhaps one or two of them were lucky enough to encounter it. However, now was not the time for them to think too much. The array formation around the flaming lake let out a rumbling sound and quickly disappeared. The fiery lake appeared in front of everyone, and a monstrous and terrifying aura rushed toward them. It was as if they were facing the divine fire in the valley again. It was finally open. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave were excited. The prodigies of the other three royal families were also wild with joy. Feng Yinxue, Hua Muzhen, and the others were excited. At this moment, everyone stood up and stared at the fiery lake in front of them. Attack! Hua Muzhen was the first to roar. His body flashed, and a fire Qilin appeared and rushed over. Wherever it passed, the world trembled. A terrifying power surged in all directions. Damn it, how dare you! Feng Yinxue shouted. Her arms danced, and she struck out the Phoenix seal. The Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and Hua Xinyan were not willing to be left behind. They all displayed their powerful abilities. Get lost. At the front, Hua Muzhen roared and spat out a bronze pagoda. As soon as the bronze pagoda appeared, a terrifying aura spread in all directions. With a gentle sound, a terrifying sound wave swept across all directions. Buzz. The space shattered, and thousands of runes bloomed. Not good. Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others' expressions changed. That was because the bronze pagoda was too terrifying. The runes on it were terrifying. It was the work of a sage. Those runes were carved by a sage, and they were far more powerful than ordinary weapons. Therefore, in an instant, they were blasted away. Damn it, this guy has been preparing for a long time. He must be plotting against us. Feng Yinxue screamed. She felt that the formation was not activated by chance, but by Hua Muzhen. Previously, the other party had been pretending and did not break the formation directly. Instead, he waited for these people to be exhausted, anxious, and lost their confidence before breaking the formation. The other party was well prepared. At this moment, the bronze pagoda was the best proof. The Fire Dragon King gritted his teeth. On the other side, Yen Nantian let out a long roar. His body emitted a dazzling light. 9 mysterious runes shrouded him and emitted a terrifying aura. Emperor runes. At this moment, Yen Nantian once again used the Emperor runes and quickly walked forward. As soon as the Emperor runes appeared, they blocked the power of the bronze pagoda. I won't let you get the heavenly fire. Yen Nantian's voice was cold as if a great emperor had been revived. In front of him, Hua Muzhen sneered. The Qilin head let out a sinister laugh. Who do you think you are? Are you really a great emperor who has been revived? You're still too young in front of me. As he spoke, he opened his mouth and spat out third-grade flying swords. Each of them was as red as fire and emitted a terrifying aura. Not good. It's a forbidden artifact. Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King's eyelids twitched wildly. Hua Muzhen laughed sinisterly. One of the flying swords grew larger and became 100 feet long. It slashed forward and broke through the flaming lake. Another flying sword circled around him. The last flying sword flew toward Yen Nantian and exploded midway. Chapter 29:77. Damn it! The forbidden artifact's power was no weaker than a half-step sacred artifact. Dodge it. They dodged one after another. Forbidden artifacts were very powerful, but they could not last long. Generally, they would break after a few uses. Although it was inferior to a half-step sacred artifact in this aspect, it was extremely terrifying in other aspects. For example, its sudden burst of power or the effect of self-destruction was very terrifying. Even Yin Nantian, who had the Great Emperor's talisman, did not dare to resist it. This energy was comparable to the self-destruction of a half-step sacred artifact. Therefore, he moved quickly. Boom, boom, boom. The void around the flaming lake quickly shattered. Other than Huamuzhen, no one dared to stay here. Huamuzhen had already opened the flaming lake. In the lake, there was a fist-sized flame that emitted a monstrous aura. Heavenly fire. Huamuzhen smiled when he saw the flame. He knew that it was the flame of his dreams, because the aura emitted from it was too terrifying. It was like the king of all flames. Even his body was trembling and cracks appeared. His own strength could not suppress the heavenly fire at all. However, the bronze pagoda above his head could. It was the work of a sage. The bronze pagoda cast a spell, and thousands of auras hung down like divine chains, enveloping the heavenly fire. Then, it kept the heavenly fire. Let's go. Huamuzhen laughed loudly and flew in the sky. He called out to the prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave and quickly left. Around him, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinshue's eyes turned red when they saw this scene. Especially Feng Yinshue. She screamed, "How dare you? Stay!" She screamed crazily. At this moment, she did not hold back. 2 pairs of phoenix wings appeared on her back. As she whistled, ice sealed thousands of miles. The entire space froze. The Fire Dragon King also turned into a fire dragon. He kept roaring, and his dragon claws tore the void apart. However, he was forced back by the Rainbow Pagoda. Huamuzhen was extremely powerful at this moment. His speed was also very fast. "Get out of here!" He shouted loudly, turned into rolling flames, and fled. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave followed closely behind. All of them were extremely excited. This was great. They had finally obtained the heavenly flame. Damn it, stop them. Don't let any of them go. Feng Yinshue screamed, and the Fire Dragon King roared as well. Zhan Wushuang, Yin Nantian, and Hua Xinyan also quickly followed. Their target was Huamuzhen. For a moment, many figures were tumbling in the sky. In front of him, Huamuzhen turned his head and revealed a ferocious smile. "You want to hunt me down with just the likes of you? Go to hell." As he spoke, he let out a roar and the third flying sword beside him flew out again. This was also a forbidden artifact, and it exploded with a loud bang. Boom, boom. The terrifying energy cut off the space and blocked everyone. By the time the energy dissipated, Huamuzhen had already led the people of the Fire Qilin cave out of the cave. Damn it, Chase. I must catch up to him. I can't let him escape. Behind him, the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinshue, and the other Sky Prides roared crazily. They killed their way out as if they had gone mad. Damn it, I was tricked by the Fire Qilin cave. They would not allow Huamu to escape. Ha 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 ha. Huamuzhen took the lead. He stepped on a fire cloud and flew quickly. Beside him were the Sky Prides of the Fire Cloud Cave. These people were also extremely excited. They had finally obtained the heavenly fire. Next, they could leave this place. According to the ancient emperor's memories, there was a teleportation array ahead that could teleport them away. Previously, Huamuzhen had also sensed that although the teleportation array had not been used for a long time, it was undamaged. It could be activated at any time. After using the teleportation array to leave, they had completely shaken off the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge. At that time, they could calmly go and seize the Qilin Eye. As for the Void Divine Furnace, they had given up this time. However, they had obtained 2 of the 3 treasures of Heavenly Fire City. After returning, the Qilin Crown Prince would definitely be very happy. Thinking of this, they were wild with joy. However, at this moment, a scream came from behind. It turned out that a palm had descended from the sky and directly slapped two prodigies of the fire spirit cave to death. Damn it, the ancient chaos palm. Seeing this scene, Huo Muzhin's face darkened. Needless to say, it was Yin Nantian who had made a move. The other party was really powerful, as expected of someone who had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. What should we do, Lord Seventh? Should we kill them? The eyes of the prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave beside him were bloodshot. They had never been hunted down like this before. Huo Muzhin gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. There was no need to care about these people. Let's hurry up and fly. All of you, burn your bloodline power. We must leave this place as soon as possible. So what if one or two prodigies died? As long as they could leave this place, they would be safe. Without their guidance, it would be a problem for the remaining people to leave Heavenly Fire City, let alone obtain the treasures. As they were returning along the same path, the speed of Huo Muzhin's group was very fast. They did not encounter any obstruction at all. Not long after, they arrived at the garden from before. Not good. There was something wrong with that garden. It was very likely a teleportation array. Behind them, the Fire Dragon King and the others' expressions changed drastically when they saw this scene. They had felt that it was suspicious previously. Huo Muzhin had stood under the rockery in the garden for a long time. At that time, they were suspicious. They had investigated, but they did not find anything. Now, it seemed that there was indeed a problem. Hurry up and don't let him leave. The Fire Dragon King roared angrily. Fire Dragon descends. He used a great divine ability. Phoenix soars the 9 heavens. Ancient Chaos Divine Fist. Apocalyptic Blade. Divine Blade of War. Those top prodigies attacked crazily, trying to destroy the entire garden. As long as the array was destroyed, he did not believe that they could not escape alive. You want to stop me? It's not that easy. Huo Muzhin laughed sinisterly, opened his mouth, and spat out another treasure. It was a disc array. It quickly expanded in the wind and directly merged into the void. Then, the array was activated and enveloped the entire garden. Haha, with my Divine Sun Universe array, you can stay outside. Huo Muzhin and the others laughed crazily. That was an extremely powerful defensive array. Those below the sage level could not break it at all. Those people wanted to stop them. It was purely wishful thinking. As expected, those peerless divine abilities bombarded the array's light screen, producing earth-shattering sounds. The array's light screen trembled, but it did not break at all. Seeing that, the prodigies of Fire Qilin cave all laughed loudly. Behind them, the Fire Dragon King, Fengling Xue, and the others had gloomy expressions. Damn it, he brought so many treasures. Naturally, they had heard of the Divine Sun Universe Array. It was an extremely famous defensive array of Fire Qilin Cave. They did not expect Huo Muzhin to bring it here this time. Is it that powerful? Open. Divine Fist of War. Zhan Wushuang waved his fist, and countless golden fist shadows bombarded the array, producing clanging sounds. Chapter 2978. Even though the void had been shattered, the spirit formation remained completely unscathed. Zhan Wushuang's face turned hideous. The other sky prides also looked cold. Let me try. Huo Xinyan walked out, and mysterious runes appeared in his eyes. Around him, balls of flames danced as if they could burn everything. It was the earthly blaze. He had such a strange flame. Fengling Xue and the others exclaimed. It was a terrifying flame that was born from the earth, and it was very difficult to subdue. They did not expect it to be refined by him. Sure enough, when the flame appeared, the surrounding void distorted. Many sky prides trembled as they looked in front of them in fear. Poof! The earthly blaze landed on the array and burned rapidly. Soon, it spread throughout the entire space. The array shook violently, but it resisted in the end. Damn it! How could it be so strong? Huo Xinyan frowned when he saw this. In the garden, Huo Muzhin and the others still came to the array. He looked at the exasperated faces of the people outside the garden and laughed proudly. Idiots! The Divine Sun Universe Array was an extremely strong defensive array. No one below the sage level could break it. You people should stop dreaming. Huomuzhen laughed. I'll miss you after I leave Skyflame City. I hope you can escape successfully within 100 years. Huomuzhen was overjoyed. Without his guidance, these people would not be able to leave. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yingshue's faces darkened. When they entered the fourth area, Huomuzhen had provided them with the method to break the array. They worked together and spent a lot of effort to break it. Now that they did not have Huomuzhen's guidance, it would be much more difficult for them to leave. Damn it! Thinking of this, Feng Yingxue screamed and attacked again. An ice sword fell from the sky, and it could destroy the world. It slashed on the array, but it did not break it. Humph! You bitch, you keep going against me. Who do you think you are? Now, just stay here obediently. When I'm in a good mood, I might come back to collect your corpse in 100 years. Huomuzhen's arrogant voice sounded again. Hearing this, Feng Yingxue was so angry that she vomited blood. How dare he insult her like this? This drove her crazy. Damn you, Huomuzhen. I'll kill you. Kill me? Stop dreaming. Huomuzhen sneered. Do you think you have the strength to do so? Be good and stay here. I'm going to leave. Huomuzhen was very proud of himself. After returning this time, he would definitely be rewarded by the Crown Prince. At that time, his strength would advance by leaps and bounds again. As for these people, they were trapped here. What could the other party use to kill him? At the thought of this, he called the prodigies of the Fire Chilling Grotto to stand on the array formation. Then, he formed a seal with his palm. 9 divine crystals flew out of his sleeves in different directions, providing a tremendous amount of energy. Activate the formation. With a cold shout, Huomuzhen's body exploded with light. One after another, mysterious runes struck the formation. Oh no, I can't let him go. Feng Yingxue, the Fire Dragon King, and the other top sky prides attacked like crazy. However, it was still blocked by the array formation. Although cracks had appeared on the formation, it did not shatter. On the teleportation array, Huomuzhen and the others smiled. Goodbye. He was about to leave this place. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. The surrounding prodigies of the Fire Chilling Grotto also looked at each other. What was going on? Why weren't they teleported away? Damn teleportation array. Activate. Huomuzhen shouted coldly. He thought that the divine crystals he threw out were not enough. So he threw out 9 more and merged them into the array formation. The teleportation array made a buzzing sound, but in an instant, the light disappeared again. They were not teleported away. Damn it, what was going on? How could this be? Huomuzhen's face was gloomy, and the expressions of the prodigies around him changed drastically. Could it be that there was a problem with the array formation? That was impossible. Huomuzhen had personally checked before. The array formation was intact and could be activated at any time. Moreover, he had done it very secretly. He did not believe that these people could see through it. Judging from the situation when these people chased after him, they really did not know that there was a teleportation array here. In other words, these people could not have destroyed it. But why could the teleportation array not be activated? How could this be? Lord Seventh, what should we do? The surrounding prodigies of the Fire Chilling Grotto also turned pale. Could it be that this array formation was broken? That was impossible. Although many tens of thousands of years had passed, so many killing arrays had been used before. This array formation should not be broken. Their faces were also gloomy. What exactly happened? Damn it, I don't believe it. It must be that the array formation had not been activated for a long time, so the energy required was relatively large. His eyes were bloodshot. This time, he threw out 49 divine crystals. Those divine crystals were like small suns, blooming with vast energy and enveloping the entire array formation. This time, the energy should be enough. Huomuzhen gritted his teeth and quickly formed a seal with his palms. Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. However, this time, they still did not teleport away. All the energy was absorbed by the array formation, but they still stayed in place. How could this be? The prodigies of the Fire Chilling Grotto were about to go crazy. They looked at the people outside the array formation, their bodies trembling. Previously, They had completely offended the nest of 10,000 dragons, Divine Phoenix Ridge, and Zhan Wushuang and other top prodigies. If they could teleport away, then it would be fine. However, if they could not teleport away, they would face the anger of so many top prodigies. Would they be able to withstand it? Not to mention them, even their 7th-generation master would not be able to resist. Huo Muzhin's face also turned green. He roared in exasperation. "Damn it, you bastard! Open it!" He had gone crazy. He roared like a wild dog, but the array formation remained indifferent. Outside the array formation, Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others were also stunned. What was going on? Huo Muzhin and the others were not teleported away. To be honest, they did not quite believe it either. It seemed that there was a problem with the array formation. Huo Xinyan sneered. Everyone was stunned, then revealed a sinister expression. This Huo Muzhin was really courting death. Fire Dragon King sneered. Feng Yinxue was even more murderous. Great, there was finally a chance to kill him with his own hands. Zhan Wushuang and Yin Nantian also snorted coldly. Their expressions were incomparably cold. They attacked together. They would shatter the array formation. Cracks had already appeared on the array formation. Now that they were attacking even more violently, it probably would not last long. 7th-generation master, what should we do? Seeing that more and more array formations around them were broken, the faces of the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto turned green. Chapter 2979. Huo Muzhin was trembling with anger. Damn it, how did this happen? To be honest, he did not expect that he would not be able to leave after offending so many people. His previous plan was very good. He would seize the treasure, activate the teleportation array, and leave directly. However, he had obtained the treasure, but now, the array formation had failed. No, it can't have failed. Someone must have sabotaged it. Huo Muzhin looked ferocious. He kept feeling that there was a pair of invisible hands behind him that were pushing everything. When the great heavenly fire array was broken, he had some suspicions. Those people thought that he was the one who broke it, but he knew that he did not know how to break the array formation. However, the array formation was inexplicably broken. He previously thought that someone was lucky and triggered the array formation's mechanism. But now that he thought about it, that was unlikely. This ancient great array was so mysterious that it was not something that could be opened by luck alone. However, in just 3 days, the great heavenly fire array was activated. Now that he thought about it, it was indeed very suspicious. Coupled with the fact that the teleportation array could not be activated, that made Huo Muzhin's heart sink to the extreme. He knew that he had been set up. But who was the culprit? Damn it! Could it be that there's a peerless expert hiding in the dark? Who is it? Get out here! He roared like a madman. How dare you set me up? I'll definitely kill you. Fire Qilin Cave will definitely not let you off. However, no one answered. What answered him was only an earth-shattering sound. With a bang, endless light flickered, and the surrounding divine sun universe array shattered with a bang. Fire Dragon King, Feng Yunxue, and the others rushed over. Behind them were the primordial elites of the nest of 10,000 dragons and Divine Emperor Ridge. Oh no! The primordial elites of the Fire Qilin Cave were so scared that they were about to cry. Huo Muzhin's face was also extremely pale. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Seeing that the other party had arrived, Huo Muzhin hurriedly roared. They had been set up, and they had to find the person who was hiding in the dark. Misunderstanding, my ass? Feng Yunxue rushed forward with a murderous aura, not giving Huo Muzhin a chance to speak at all. Previously, the other party dared to call her a bitch and humiliate her. How could she endure it? Buzz. She extended her jade-like hand, which transformed into a divine bird. It carried the divine light of Li fire as it pierced through the clouds and charged at Huo Muzhin. It could be said that he did not hold back at all in this palm strike. Therefore, the sky prides around Huo Muzhin trembled, unable to resist at all. Huo Muzhin shouted angrily, and a cold light burst from his eyes. A huge Fire Qilin phantom appeared and roared at the sky. At the same time, He burned his bloodline power, and the bronze pagoda also rushed out from between his brows. He did not hold back at all and fought against these people. In an instant, a great battle broke out. In the end, Huamuzhen used the heavenly fire that he had just obtained. Monstrous flames filled the air. The entire space was enveloped by a peerless power. Other than Yin Nantian, the Fire Dragon King, and the others who fought against it, the other archaic prodigies all retreated frantically, not daring to get close at all. However, the prodigies of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Phoenix Ridge did not stay idle. They all charged towards the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave. For a moment, the battle was very tragic. While these people were fighting desperately, on the other side, the cave was eerily quiet. At this moment, the cave inside was still like a paradise on earth. The flaming lake that was split open by the saber once again recovered, but there was still no one there. In the entire paradise on earth, only Lin Xian was left. Of course, there was also the Crimson Dragon and the others. They walked out of the mysterious feather. They were finally out. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Xin Jingqiu looked around curiously. The Crimson Dragon was extremely excited. Kid, let's start quickly. Lin Xian nodded. There was no time to lose. They had to make a move quickly. Who knew what happened to those people outside? The group of people moved quickly and arrived outside the valley. Looking at the ethereal divine furnace in front of them, everyone's eyes burned with passion. My line, my line. The little white monkey also jumped out, scratching its ears and cheeks anxiously. However, it also knew that the formation ahead was terrifying, so it did not dare to move forward. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He and the Crimson Dragon worked together and quickly broke the 8 barren divine fire formation. Chapter 2980. Since they already had a way to break it, they acted very quickly. Not long after, the entire 8 Desolation Divine Fire array trembled slightly and then disappeared. Great! It's broken. The Crimson Dragon was overjoyed, and the little white monkey flew over. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Shun Jingqiu also came forward. The Void Divine Furnace. Everyone looked at the Divine Furnace in front of them excitedly. One of the pills inside was refined using the Heavenly Flame, so its value was definitely higher than the Heavenly Flame. And that was only one of the treasures. There must be other treasures inside. In other words, the value of the Void Divine Furnace far exceeded the Heavenly Fire. Hurry up and take it away. The Crimson Dragon set up a formation outside to prevent them from causing too much of a commotion and alerting the outside world. Let Bin Huang try. After setting up the formation, the Crimson Dragon couldn't wait any longer. He opened his mouth and wanted to swallow the Void Divine Furnace. The mysterious runes on the Void Divine Furnace flickered, and a terrifying divine fire spread out. The Crimson Dragon was so scared that he quickly retreated. No, although the 8 Desolation Divine Fire array was broken, the Void Divine Furnace was too terrifying. It would be difficult for anyone below the Sage Realm to walk. Let's open the furnace. The Crimson Dragon shook his head. He stretched out his dragon claws, grabbed the top of the furnace, and lifted it. However, the Void Divine Furnace didn't move at all. Damn, why is it so heavy? Everyone was stunned. The dark red Divine Dragon could easily lift 100,000 mountains with just one move. However, the Void Divine Furnace didn't move. That Yin Nantian was really powerful. He could lift the top of the Void Divine Furnace with just one hand. Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Xin Jingqiu was also surprised. She had to admit that the Emperor's divine ability was indeed powerful. Let me try. Lin Xian stood out. His 9-yang divine body shone brightly as he used his full strength. A pair of golden hands grabbed the top of the furnace. Open for me. Lin Xian shouted angrily. His black hair danced wildly, and the entire void trembled. Countless cracks appeared around him. The illusionary divine furnace also began to tremble and rumble. Lin Xian was like a god of war, his power erupting once again. Finally, a crack appeared in the furnace. It was activated. The Crimson Dragon was overjoyed. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu were also shocked. as expected of the 9 yang divine body. It was indeed terrifying to possess such divine power. Lin Xian's face was flushed red. Activating this sliver was already his limit. He couldn't open it completely. However, he also had a backup plan. Come out, great dragon sword spirit. With a cold shout, a dragon-shaped sword shadow flew out and circled in the sky. Then, it pierced into the gap. Clang! An earth-shattering sound could be heard. Fortunately, there was a formation around them, so it did not spread out. Seeing the great dragon sword soul enter the gap, Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. He loosened his grip. His arm was numb. He had to admit that the great void divine furnace was too terrifying. At the same time, he was even more shocked. It seemed that the chaotic ancient technique was incomparably terrifying. The inheritance of the arch was indeed not to be underestimated. He had to pay more attention to Yin Nantian in the future. But now, he put away his thoughts and focused on dealing with the great void divine furnace in front of him. Buzz. He grabbed the great dragon sword spirit with one hand. Then, he pressed it down. He wanted to use the great dragon sword spirit as a lever to pry open the great void divine furnace's cauldron. If it was an ordinary heaven-grade top-tier weapon, it would probably break in an instant. Even a half-step sacred weapon might not be able to withstand it. However, the great dragon sword spirit was different. This was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. It would not break at all. Lin Xian did not have to worry. He only needed to use all his strength. Rumble, rumble. The top of the great void divine furnace finally emitted a creaking sound. The crack grew bigger and bigger, and finally, more than half of it was opened. Buzz. As soon as the divine furnace opened, a red light rushed out of it, emitting a peerless aura. It turned into a pill and floated at the entrance. It was that pill. Seeing this scene, the Crimson Dragon exclaimed in surprise. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu also held their breaths. Previously, they had seen this pill. The power of this pill was too terrifying. Mysterious runes appeared on Shun Jingqiu's body. She carefully sensed it. That's right. This pill indeed contained the aura of the divine fire. Keep it. Lin Xian took out the 9-story pagoda. It was also a half-step sacred weapon, and he controlled it. He put away the red pill. After doing all this, he heaved a sigh of relief. The Crimson Dragon looked ahead eagerly. Kid, look. Are there any treasures inside? They looked ahead. It was chaos inside, and they could not see clearly at all. Kid, activate your heavenly secret divine eyes. The Crimson Dragon urged. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and looked inside. In the next moment, he could not see clearly what kind of chaos he passed through. However, he saw that there were many flickering lights inside. He thought that there should be treasures inside. He said that there were indeed treasures, but he could not take them out. Lin Xian stretched out his palm and reached into the chaos, wanting to take out the treasures. However, as soon as he entered, the 9-yang palm cracked, and he quickly retracted it in fear. It seemed that the aura of the wonton was even more terrifying than the divine fire. Did he have to wait for the treasures to fly out? The Crimson Dragon's eyes were red. He muttered something and formed a seal with his dragon claws. He shouted, "Come out, treasure!" However, there was no reaction from the void divine furnace. The Crimson Dragon was so angry that it roared and slapped it with its claws. Damn it! Wu Ji, the snow-white monkey jumped. It was also so angry that it scratched its ears and cheeks and took off the treasure plate on its head. The snow-white monkey used all its strength, and its body emitted a white light. It used the treasure plate to the extreme. Similarly, mysterious runes appeared one after another. Lin Xian also took out the fire spirit pearl from the mysterious sword and placed it on the treasure plate. He did not know what use it would be. However, he had a feeling that the fire spirit pearl should be related to the void divine furnace. As expected, under the effects of the two, a few more rays of light flew out from the void divine furnace. It's coming out. There are treasures coming out. A total of 4 rays of light came out and floated at the entrance. Seeing this, the snow-white monkey waved its claws and directly put away a blue fruit. Then, it was elated, and its big eyes turned into crescents. Other than the blue fruit, there were three other things. One of them was a blood-colored lingji. This was not an ordinary lingji. It was even more terrifying than the king of medicine. This was because there were mysterious runes on it that did not look like they were carved by humans. Heavens, could this be natural Tao patterns? The crimson dragon swallowed his saliva. He had never seen such a magical spirit herb before. Lin Xian, can you give this blood lingji to me? Shun Jingqiu's beautiful eyes widened. There were also terrifying runes spinning on her body. She had formed a connection with the blood lingji. Lin Xian smiled. Of course, these are all for you. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Shun Jingqiu formed a seal with her palm, and the blood lingji flew to her side and was kept by her. Roar. No, Bin Huang had to choose one too. The crimson dragon stared at the remaining two things. At this moment, a roar came with a terrifying aura. Even the blood in Lin Xian and the other's bodies surged. Chapter 2981. What a terrifying bloodline suppression. What is this? The crimson dragon's eyes were red as it stared at the black pill. This thing looked ordinary, but it was actually so terrifying. Could it be the legendary Thousand Beasts elixir? Heavens, Bin Huang wants this thing. The crimson dragon waved its claws and kept the black pill. Then I will take the last thing. Murong Qingsheng smiled and waved her jade-like hand. Although there was only one left, she was not dissatisfied. In fact, she was very happy. The last thing was a 7-colored lotus. The 7 petals were like rainbows, shining with a mysterious aura. Needless to say, this was also a treasure. Everyone was very satisfied with the treasures they obtained. Next, the little white monkey activated the treasure basin again. Lin Xian used the fire spirit pearl, but it was useless. None of the treasures came out. They knew that they might have used up all their opportunities. However, it did not matter. Each of them obtained a treasure. Moreover, they knew that any treasure in their hands was far more valuable than the Heaven Fire. It could be said that they were the biggest winners in this trip to Heaven Fire City. Lin Xian kept the great dragon sword soul, and the divine furnace slowly healed. Finally, the void sky divine furnace merged into one again. It emitted a mysterious aura and floated there. Are we leaving? Murong Qingqing asked. The crimson dragon looked at it and said reluctantly, Oh, this is a peerless treasure. Are we going to leave it here? I really want to take it away. Kid, do you have any other ideas? Lin Xian was also reluctant. To be honest, although he could not take it out now, he wanted to take it away. In the future, when he became stronger, he would definitely be able to get the treasures inside. Therefore, he wanted to get it. After thinking for a while, he said, I will give it a try. Others might not have a way, but he had a way. He had the mysterious small sword in his body. Previously, the mysterious small sword had absorbed the fire spirit pearl. This time, it should be able to take the void sky divine furnace. However, he could not take the initiative to move the mysterious small sword. Therefore, he was ready to take the risk. He reached out and grabbed the void sky divine furnace. The void sky divine cauldron released a divine flame that enveloped Lin Xian. The 9-yang divine body resisted the divine flame, but the divine flame was too terrifying. Cracks instantly appeared on his 9-yang divine body. He roared, Damn it, keep it. Just as his body was about to shatter, the mysterious little sword in his body finally trembled. A beam of sword light shot out and enveloped the void sky deity. In the next moment, the void divine furnace disappeared from the valley. Disappeared. The void divine furnace seemed to have disappeared. Murong Qingsheng and the others widened their eyes, and the crimson dragon screamed, Kid, did you succeed? Lin Xian closed his eyes, and his soul entered the mysterious little sword. Sure enough, he discovered that the Nihility divine furnace had appeared in that mysterious space. This made him sigh in relief. He opened his eyes and a smile appeared on his face. He had succeeded. Hurry up and leave. Don't get blocked by those people. If they find out that it was us who did it in secret, these people will probably go crazy. The Crimson Dragon and the others prepared to leave. Lin Xin nodded and also wanted to leave. However, just as they turned around, a mysterious flame suddenly appeared in the place where the Void Divine Furnace was originally floating. As soon as it jumped, the space in the entire valley instantly shattered. A terrifying spatial power enveloped Lin Xian and the others. In the next moment, they disappeared from the valley. On the other side, the battle in the garden was fierce. Hua Muzhin's body was covered in blood, and his body was covered in cracks. He had already been defeated twice, and this was the result of using all his trump cards and burning his bloodline power. Otherwise, he would have been killed long ago. On the other side, the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave were also on the verge of death. Many of them were injured, and many of them were killed. Damn it, stop. I'm not fighting anymore. I'll hand over the heavenly fire. Hua Muzhin was furious. However, if he did not hand over the heavenly fire, he would really lose his life. Not only him, but all the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave would be killed. He could not bear the consequences. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others stopped. Hua Muzhin reluctantly took out the bronze pagoda. He divided the heavenly fire into 6 portions and gave them to the Fire Dragon King and the other 5 prodigies. Only then did the other party stop. However, Feng Yunxue looked at him with a cold expression. In the end, she did not make a move. Hua Muzhin heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, he was so angry that he trembled. Who was it? Who was it that tricked him? He decided to go back and take a look. The others also felt that the matter was a little strange. After all, they felt that it was unreal that the heavenly fire array was activated so easily. Therefore, these people also followed Hua Muzhin and returned to the cave. When they entered the cave, they found that it was quiet inside. They first came to the flaming lake and saw that everything was normal. Feng Yunxue sneered. All right, we've already obtained the heavenly fire. It doesn't matter even if you lied and plotted against us. The others also looked over. Hua Muzhin shook his head. Someone must have tricked me. Let's go to the valley and take a look. There might be something wrong with the Void Divine Furnace. They flew toward the valley. Among them, although the Fire Dragon King and the others were suspicious, they did not think that the other party had the ability to seize the Void Divine Furnace. One had to know that even the successor of the great Emperor, Yin Nantian, could not do anything. Moreover, he only survived after risking a chaotic ancient imperial talisman. It was impossible for others to take it away, unless it was a saint, and an extremely terrifying one at that. Only then would they be able to quietly take away the Void Wave Divine Furnace. With a suspicious attitude, they flew toward the valley. However, when they arrived at the valley, they were completely dumbfounded. With a clang, the bronze pagoda above Hua Muzhin's head fell to the ground. However, he did not care at all. He stared straight ahead. Where was the Void Divine Furnace? Feng Yunxue also screamed. The pupils of the Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and Hua Xinyan also shrank. Yin Nanshan's eyes burst with a piercing cold light. The stars in his eyes flickered as if they were the eyes of the martial path, sweeping in all directions. Could it be that he had hidden it? However, under such a terrifying eye technique, nothing could be hidden. He realized that the Void Divine Furnace had really disappeared. Not only had the Void Divine Furnace disappeared, but the 8 Barren Divine Fire Array had also disappeared. As soon as Hua Muzhin entered the valley, he roared crazily. Who was it? Damn it, who was the one who did it? The others were also sweating profusely. The Great Heavenly Fire Array was broken? The 8 Barren Divine Fire Array was also broken by someone. Which expert was it that did this? It could not be the younger generation. No one had such terrifying ability. Even the top young array masters could not do it. The Fire Dragon King and the others shook their heads. They had a deep understanding of how terrifying the 8 Barren Divine Fire Array was. Even the 10,000 ancient races couldn't produce such a prodigy, let alone the human race or anyone else. Who was it? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.